I bless my
and our community services department. So we just want to say a hearty shout out to our AYs. Thank you. Community in action. This is our Global Youth Day project that we are now working on. But hey, it's Global Youth here as far as I'm concerned. So yes, welcome in, welcome in. Please remember to share, subscribe. Do not keep this to yourself. Remember to share. Remember to subscribe. We have great things in store for you today. I can say for sure that we'll be looking at, persons will be screened in the various clinics. I think we're running at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 9 clinics this morning. We have cholesterol, we have blood pressure, we have glucose, we have child health. Yes, the peds will be in. We have the mental health experts, they will be here. The urologists will be here working on some prostates. So if you have a prostate, I think you should be here. We have the ENTs, the ear, nose and throat specialists, our optometrists and ophthalmologists. They will be here, and we will be screening also for HPV. I also think that we also have that HPV vaccine here. So we're asking you, wherever you are in Antigua and Barbuda, you're not too late. You are not too late. And if you're not in Antigua, I don't think you're too late for a flight either. So welcome in. Welcome in. We're excited. I hope my ladies are watching you on. I hope that you're locked in. I know you're not here on island, but I hope you're locked in. So share the live. Remember to share. Remember the notification bell that I always emphasize that you touch. Make sure you turn that notification bell. So everybody in Antigua, I'm going to jump on after our lesson review. I'm going to jump on with some contacts, but I know for sure that we have a shuttle service. Until I come to you with the information for the shuttle service, I am asking kindly, if you need a shuttle, you just type that message in the chat. We will be monitoring the chat throughout the day, so just drop that message in the chat and we will be sure to contact you and find you so you can have that shuttle service shuttle you here to our various clinics. So again, we are looking forward to a wonderful time here. I'm sure, I don't know if the camera can move a little so you can see some of what we have here. Look at those beautiful palm trees. I know both of you in the US, yes, you're a little jealous right now. Don't you all over the most beautiful places on the Lord's planet. Behind those trees there is the beach, beautiful white sandy beach, and we trust that if you have never been, so welcome in again. Welcome in. I just want to ask you to just bow your head wherever you are with me. Heavenly God, I want to thank you for the opportunity that you've given to us, oh God, to come out this morning and to minister to your people. We ask, oh God, in the name of Jesus, that not only physical health situations be changed, but also spiritual lives be changed, oh God, and hearts will be turned to you. Cover us, cover this gathering, cover this screening, cover this fear this morning, I beg. In Jesus was betrayed. Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane because this is where Jesus even bled blood at this present time. So we're going to dive in this morning, and we are going to start with Sunday, and the Sunday's title is Strangely Silent. Strangely Silent. So this morning, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give a few points throughout each day, not going too much in depth, but just to try to highlight the points so you can understand what Jesus really went through that moment. So, in Strangely Silent, on Sunday began by explaining a story of a pastor. We were so accustomed to seeing him all calm and confident,
and even facing demons whelmed with the weight of the world. Jesus required one thing from his disciples, and that was their response to prayer and Jesus was looking for his disciples to take that opportunity to support him. And as Christians, sometimes we do need that support. When we've reached that point of where we can't do it anymore, we feel like all hope is gone, we need that support from our fellow brothers and sisters to just be there for us in those moments, in our darkest time. And Jesus was looking forward for his disciples to give him that encouragement during those hours. But instead, what were they doing? His disciples were asleep. So they did not give Jesus that support that he needed. And so Jesus went through that night struggling with all those feelings of isolation and loneliness. And the thing is, with this whole situation, Jesus came to die on the cross so we may eventually go to heaven, live with him. And so he knew his mission, and even though he asked the Lord God to take the cup from him, he knew at the end of the day he was still going to go through with it because he loved us so much. Jesus was not about to run away from his mission. Alright? And even through it all, scripture strengthened and guided Jesus. He understood that the events of Gethsemane, in light of what the prophet said, all this was done with the scriptures of the prophets. So the scriptures of the prophets will be fulfilled. Jesus also experienced overwhelming sorrow rather than anger. So if we know the story of Gethsemane, during the process, Peter, in all his haste and on his grandeur, he ended up hurting someone's heel. And Jesus was not pleased. Okay? He was not pleased, but at the end of it all, he still showed the love, he still showed support to even those who were against him. So the main point for Sunday is that Gethsemane both revealed humanity, faithfulness to Jesus, and he and allowed the scripture to guide him through his darkest moment. So there was a question that was asked on Monday, and it said, what was Jesus experiencing? And as I mentioned, Jesus was experiencing loneliness, but he did not hide it. And sometimes us as Christians, when we're going through things, and I know reasons why we don't like to share, but sometimes as Christians, we don't like to let people know when we're struggling emotionally, and we don't get that support that we need. That support that our brothers and sisters in Christ should give us, to pray for us, to rally around us during those times. Okay? So Jesus did not hide his emotion. He acknowledged his sorrow. He sought support from his close friends, even though their Father Stephen didn't give it to him. But he did. He prayed earnestly. And that is something as Christians that we often, sometimes we forget to do. When we're in our sorrow and we're in our distress, the first thing we just worry. Oh God, this and this and that. Father, I don't know how to do this and this. The money now come, especially now school come out. When we get the money to buy the school supplies. Instead, the first thing we're supposed to do is go down on our knees and pray and ask God to guide whatever decision, guide us through whatever we are going through. Because at the end of the day, He and He alone can make a way for us. Now we move on to Monday. So Monday is entitled the bitter cup. The bitter cup. So Jesus went to the Garden of Gethsemane with his disciples, and as mentioned before, he left 8 disciples near the entrance. And he only took Peter, James, and John farther into the garden with him. Okay? Jesus desired companionship and support, and during this extremely difficult moment, he wanted his closest disciples to stay near him, watch, and pray. Okay? And again, he experienced that sorrow, and he even told his disciples, and you can find it in Matthew 26:38, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Jesus asked his disciples to remain with him. He said, stay here and watch with me. And Jesus dreaded the suffering he was about to face. He fell on his face and he prayed, oh my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Okay? And the cup represented divine judgment against sin. Revelation described it as the cup of his indignation. And you can find that in Revelation 14:10. Jesus took the punishment of sin as our substitute. And I mentioned it before. It was supposed to be our duty. It was supposed to be us. But Jesus said, no. Let me do this for my people, because let me do this for my creation, because I know they won't be able to manage. Though he was sinless, he bore what sinners deserved, and so that we can receive salvation and the blessings that he has for us. And even while suffering, Jesus showed his compassion to his disciples. Rather than only focusing on his pain, he was concerned about even their spiritual weakness, because he did tell them to watch and pray. And watch and pray, what's the meaning? They were supposed to be alert. They were supposed to be alert, looking at what was going on and praying in the meantime. But God didn't get angry. Jesus didn't get angry, sorry. He did not get angry at them. He did not. He still showed compassion towards them, even though they weren't there to give him the support that he needed. Okay? And Jesus realized the human weaknesses. He said, the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And Jesus knows that about us. Sometimes we will say to ourselves, okay, I'm going to go visit one of my church members today. And by the time we blink and look around, we fall asleep. Or it's a Sabbath afternoon and we're supposed to go witnessing. By the time we finish eat the nice little heavy lunch, we fall asleep. Alright? Or sometimes during the week, we're supposed to call up a friend and we get distracted by the phone, the family, our work, and all the things that are going on. And we want to work, we want to do what God asks us to do, but we are weak, and that is why we always need to call upon the name of the Lord to ask him for that strength. Okay? So Jesus' love remained unchanged. Even though the disciples would fail him, Jesus continued to work the cross and willingly suffered for them and for us. Gethsemane showed the depth of Jesus' suffering and the depth of his love. He experienced all this loneliness and the weight of sin, yet he remained compassionate towards his disciples and committed of salvation. And so we move to one of the questions that was found on Monday, that it says, in what ways do we fall asleep when Jesus needs us to be wide awake? And that's a question I want you to even think of yourself. In what ways do we fall asleep when Jesus asks us to be wide awake? And one of the first point I want to make is we neglect prayer. A lot of times, as mentioned before, we rely on our own understanding without going to God. Where we get our attention, the simplest thing, our cell phones. And honestly, I'm going to say it, sometimes it distracts me. It does. Sometimes I'm there doing my devotion and next thing the phone they're buzzing, somebody's sending me a message, or sometimes the time I'm supposed to be taking reading the Bible, I'm there scrolling on TikTok and getting distracted by videos, okay? Or sometimes we see someone who is struggling and we do nothing about it. We know somebody in the community, we know somebody at work that may need our support, and we turn a blind eye to it, okay? Jesus wanted, okay? And so sometimes we have to be mindful that when we go out on a daily basis, we are Jesus's representatives when we go out, whether it's school, whether it be work, whether it's within our community. We have to be disciples wherever we go. My next point is we know what is right but fail to do it. Sometimes our intentions are good, but we do not follow through. Jesus said in Matthew 26:41, the spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. So as I said, we'll say we're going to go visit that brother and sister that we know that need our prayer, but we end up dilly-dallying and we just don't do it, okay? Sometimes we ignore the opportunities to serve. Jesus teaches us that serving people who are hungry, lonely, sick, or in need is a way of serving Him. And sometimes also we become spiritually careless. We still attend church, we participate in all the activities, but our personal relationship with God is not where it ought to be, okay? And when sometimes we also let fear keep us from standing for Christ. So we know that if we looking at Antigua right now, we can say and things aren't looking like how it used to be. Even some of our online viewers, you may be reading the news. Oh wow, Antigua is, let's say, fighting here. But us as Christians, we ought to know, we ought to say that it was foretold already. Jesus said it. Signs of the time are everywhere. There, we know it at the time. Okay, and question to ask, what does it look like to watch and pray? So to watch prayer, okay? In our everyday lives, we have to be aware of our weaknesses. So the next rule. If we know that overeating is our weakness, ice cream is our weakness, don't buy it. If we have at them, okay? Praying before the problem comes. So this is one way we can watch and pray. It's praying, as I mentioned before. We ought to pray before the problem comes. We're supposed to always be praying and being connected to God. When somebody's in need, and sometimes we sit, but as I mentioned before, we turn a blind eye. We're supposed to have a guard on our heart, the influence of our behavior. And we're supposed to also be always listening for God's direction. Prayer is not only talking to God, it also involves making that space in His Word and love. So instead of us waiting and sometimes the temptation, and we do and we edge to it, no. Recognize our temptations early. Instead of waiting and it comes overwhelming, we're supposed to recognize these signs and ask for God for strength. So praying for others and also staying spiritually ready. Simple watch is pay attention to what is happening to you around. Pray, bring what you see to God and ask Him for the wisdom, strength, and direction. So we move on to Tuesday. So Tuesday says, put away your sword. Alright? And here at this moment, we look at the piece where Peter had cut the ear of Malchus, the high priest's servant. Okay? And when they came to the Garden of Gethsemane to look for Jesus, they asked, who is this man? They asked, who is Jesus? Jesus' response to them was, I am. And when you look at the word I am, it points to the divine identity of who Jesus is. And at that moment, Jesus demonstrated his divine power when he said, I am. And when he had that moment, they knew, they knew who Jesus was. They knew that he was the Messiah, but yet still they went forward, okay? And Peter was so zealous. He was so heated, okay, at this point, because these people are going to take his Lord from him, that Jesus tried to defend Jesus. And you know what, sometimes we do. However, we have to take responsibility for our actions as well when we hurt people. We have to acknowledge, let them say, oh, yeah, right, man, that go. No. We have to acknowledge, we have to seek forgiveness, and we have to make things right where possible. Okay? So we continue with Tuesday's point. Jesus was willing, as mentioned before, to accept his mission. Alright? Jesus was also fulfilling scripture. He was willing to give his life. He reached a point where he was even healing his enemy. And if we look at it honestly right now, if somebody does us something, right, and at the end of the day they end up getting hurt, are we going to let me help, brother, let me help that village person or somebody that did us wrong on the road? Somebody hit our car driving on the road, you see them getting a big accident. Are you going to stop for that and help them and call the ambulance? So these are things throughout our daily life that we have to go through and we have to really think about, because we have to make these conscious choices and show persons that we, at the end of the day, we are disciples of Jesus. We have to be like Jesus. Even in that moment in Gethsemane, they were coming to Jesus. Jesus knew they were about to take him, and eventually he was going to die. Jesus still, that moment, performed a miracle and healed Malchus' ear. Okay? Jesus de-escalates situation. Instead of responding with more violence, Jesus brought healing and peace. So we move on to Wednesday. So Wednesday's lesson basically went in to deal with a lot of scripture, parallel accounts of what Gethsemane was like. So if you want to find the story of Gethsemane, you can find it in Mark 14:32 to 52. You can also find it in Luke 22:39 to 53. You can find it in John 18:1 to 11. And we can further understand Jesus' grief as well in Isaiah 53:10 to 12, Isaiah 59:2, 2 Corinthians 5:21. So heart was overwhelmed by the pressure. Okay? And Gethsemane demonstrate the seriousness, the load that our sins bore on Jesus. Ellen White commented on this very sin, and she said, God suffered with his son. There was silence in heaven. Could mortals have viewed the amazement of the angelic host as in silent grief, they watched the Father separating his beams of light, love, and glory from his beloved Son. The weight and the consequences of sin, his suffering was intention began. Jesus surrendered to God's will. He said, not as I will, but as you will. God also sent an angel to strengthen him, and Jesus willingly continued to wear the cross because of his love for humanity.
Christ's repeated requests for prayer shows personal vulnerability. And sometimes, as I mentioned before, us as Christians, sometimes we as ourselves need to reach out and ask for help. And you reaching out and asking for help does not show weakness. It is not weakness. Jesus could not do it on his own, and we can't do it on our own. So we have to ask for help. We have to ask for that support to get that strength. Okay? True strength is not hiding our struggles. We have to get together. We have to pray together, build that faith together, acknowledge one another's needs so we all could make it to the kingdom of God. And as I close, I'd like to make 3 simple points as I leave. Before a single hand was laid on Jesus, Jesus was already near death. And I never really looked at it that way until I studied this lesson. We often talk about Jesus crucified, when they whipped him, and we talk about when he went on, he had to carry the cross, and we look at when he was on the cross, they nailed his hands, they even took a spear and ran through his side. He had to bear the crowns of thorn on his head. But Jesus was already near death, not from those physical torture, but from the crushing weight of our sins. Yet he chose to go forward anyway, because he saw you and he saw me and he believed in our worth. Isn't that an amazing God? He is such a loving and caring God. Point 2. Jesus earnestly desired his inner circle to support him in prayer. But while he was battling in full weight of sin and surrendering to the Father's will, they slept and left him to carry the burden alone. And I'm going to mention it again. Yes, sometimes we fall asleep. We do not watch and we do not pray. And God is asking us to watch and pray so we can help one another. During his arrest, Jesus showed absolute control, compassion, and commitment to his mission. He rebuked violence, even healed one of those who came to arrest him, and then calmly chose to go forward with laying down his life. What an amazing, loving, and caring God we serve. And today, viewers online, we hope that you were blessed by this lesson study, and we will continue our lesson this course next Sabbath. And I pray that you have a wonderful, blessed Sabbath. We still have a morning full of activities. You can, once you're here in Antigua, you can still pass. You can, oh Lord is not far. We say, oh Lord, far, oh Lord is not far. So even if you're in town, take the bus, beg a ride, drive your vehicle, come and take a lovely view of the beach. We are here and we are willing to serve you, our community, as we are out here showing transformation, out here showing our love and who Jesus is.
Genesis 1:6, we read about our 8th way to stand for wellness, air. We read, then God said, let there be a firmament. The day of creation, in preparation for creating man, God made the pure air of the then untainted atmosphere. Every cell of the body requires oxygen.
No, when Grace is only because I used to give me
but a
trouble.
person
When
could live a month without
it's good.
food. Water is important as well, but a person could live a few days without it. But fresh air is even more important, for in the absence of oxygen, brain cells begin to die within 4 to 6 minutes. Unfortunately, we don't live in the untainted atmosphere of a newly created Earth. The reality is that there is a lot of pollution in the air around us. Many people don't realize that the worst pollution actually is inside, not outside. If you stay in a room with the doors and windows closed, or a car with the windows up and the air on recirculate, you are actually polluting the air by your breathing. The contaminant levels, such as carbon dioxide, increase and the oxygen levels somewhat decrease. Air within closed spaces is frequently much more polluted than even the smog-laden air of major cities. The worst way to pollute your air is to smoke or live with someone who smokes. Cigarettes contain over 400 chemicals, 60 of which are known to cause cancer. Tobacco can be transmitted to your children and others by simply contacting your smoke-laden hair and clothes. People who don't smoke but live with those who do can develop cancer and many other diseases as a result of breathing that secondhand smoke. So, what do you do to get fresh air? Well, open the windows of your home on a regular basis. Open the windows of your car. Turn on the air on fresh rather than recirculate. Get out of the city environment and spend some time in the woods or near a waterfall or a stream or by the ocean. Even better would be to move to the country where you can live in the fresh atmosphere of God's creation. If you can't move to the woods, bring the woods to you and fill your house with plants. They will help clean your air. If you struggle with a tobacco addiction, visit www.breathefree2.com. That's www.breathe2.com for resources to help you in your struggle for freedom. Remember, in order to truly overcome an addiction, you need the power of God working in your heart. So come to Him and ask for His help. He loves to free His children from the things that hold them in bondage. God bless you abundantly as you learn to stand for wellness.
Today's health chat is on diabetes. Diabetes is one of the fastest growing health challenges in the world today, and millions of people don't even realize they have it. It happens when your body either doesn't make enough insulin or can't use it properly. As a result, blood sugar builds up in the bloodstream, which can lead to serious problems over time. There are two main types of diabetes: type 1 diabetes, which usually starts early in life and requires daily insulin, and then type 2 diabetes, which is more common and often linked to lifestyle factors such as diet, weight, and physical activity. There's also pre-diabetes, a warning sign that your blood sugar is higher than normal, but not high enough to be diabetes yet. The good news, pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes are often preventable and manageable. Why does it matter? Uncontrolled diabetes can lead to heart disease, kidney failure, blindness, nerve damage, and even amputations. But there's the hopeful part. Here's the hopeful part. You can take charge. Start with healthy eating. Focus on vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and cut back on sugar can lower your risk of diabetes. Keep your weight in a healthy range. And manage stress with rest, relaxation, and even a quiet walk. Also, know your numbers. Get your blood sugar tested, especially if you're over 45, overweight, or have a family history of diabetes. If you're diagnosed, follow your care plan closely, including any medications, meal planning, and checkups. Diabetes doesn't have to control your life. With knowledge, action, and support, you can live well and live long. And remember, 3 John verse 2, I wish above all things that you prosper and be in good health.
In Genesis 1:6, we read about our eighth way to stand for wellness, air. We read, "Then God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." On the second day of creation, in preparation for creating man, God made the pure air of the then untainted atmosphere. Every cell of the body requires oxygen to function. Food is important, but a person could live a month without food. Water is important as well, but a person could live a few days without it. But fresh air is even more important, for in the absence of oxygen, brain cells begin to die within 4 to 6 minutes. Unfortunately, we don't live in the untainted atmosphere of a newly created Earth. The reality is that there is a lot of pollution in the air around us. Many people don't realize that the worst pollution actually is inside, not outside. If you stay in a room with the doors and windows closed, or a car with the windows up and the air on recirculate, you are actually polluting the air by your breathing. The contaminant levels, such as carbon dioxide, increase and the oxygen levels somewhat decrease. Air within closed spaces is frequently much more polluted than even the smog-laden air of major cities. The worst way to pollute your air is to smoke, or live with someone who smokes. Cigarettes contain over 400 chemicals, 60 of which are known to cause cancer. Tobacco can be transmitted to your children and others by simply contacting your smoke-laden hair and clothes. People who don't smoke but live with those who do can develop cancer and many other diseases as a result of breathing that secondhand smoke. So, what do you do to get fresh air? Well, open the windows of your home on a regular basis.
You can't hear them, me? Nigel, answer. Remember that, the mic off.
To move to the country where you can live in the fresh atmosphere of God's creation. If you can't move to the woods, bring the woods to you and fill your house with plants. They will help clean your air. If you struggle with a tobacco addiction, visit www.breathefree2.com. That's www.breathe2.com for resources to help you in your struggle for freedom. Remember, in order to truly overcome an addiction, you need the power of God working in your heart. So come to Him and ask for His help. He loves to free His children from the things that hold them in bondage. God bless you abundantly as you learn to stand for wellness.
I'm sure and I'm confident that you would have, acquired some kind of deep understanding as it relates what Jesus would have gone through in the Garden of Gethsemane and how we can even make those life applications in our own life. We are I'm not sure if we're going to cut.
So the same as it doing is ease up so we can proceed.
Yeah, wait. Okay, no. We are.
We need to tell her we cut.
It's a hole. Okay, so alright, so we're being dealt a card here with some rain and some wind, but of course we're outside, so we're not gonna have the perfect studio environment. So we're just asking you to just go with us this morning. We're enjoying the nature, Ďeľi, and so we're happy to have with us here one of the organizers. Meet the organizers. So Ďeľi, one of our AY leaders. Say hi to them, Ďeľi. Yes, he's one of the mastermind behind of this prestigious event. And so Ďeľi, we're really happy to have you join us here this morning. Could you just give us an overview as to what's going to be happening today?
Well, we have a lot carrying on today. We have this is actually our second annual health fair. It's in connection with the Global Youth Day initiative that usually takes place in March.
Yeah.
This year, the Global Youth Day actually happened on the 21st of March. But we had our crusade carrying on, so we couldn't do it then. But as a means of reaching out to the community, we had to do something this year. So that's why we're having it today. And this year, the theme is actually communion in action. It's just a way of showing our love to the community as well. So for today, we're having our health fair where we have many different health checks carrying on. We have the general practitioners. You can come and get your eye screening done. We have ENT on board, and we also have the pediatrician as well, and others. So if you're listening in the community, we're going to be here until 3 o'clock. So you can feel free to come on out, and it's all free of cost. We just want to give back to the community to show our love.
Yes, and so Ďeľi, is there any special sponsor or group of persons you'd like to just say a shout out to?
Well, first of all, we have to give God thanks for everything. And in addition to that, we want to say thanks for all the many doctors who came on board, because they're providing their services free of cost. There's not a dollar been given to them, and when we reached out to them, they accepted without hesitation. So we just want to say special thank you for the doctors, the nurses who will be taking out cholesterol checks and everything, and just as well as just the other individuals who participated in providing refreshments and other things, the tech team as well today.
With even if it's not health, any other community organization, any other community projects from the AY?
Of course, definitely. We have a lot of programs in the pipeline. Too much too soon, but yeah, we can definitely look out for more collaborations in the future.
What would you say to maybe a young person? I know you're AY, so what would you say to a young person who's listening now, someone who wants to get involved in community outreach? Maybe they're not a Christian, maybe they're not a part of a church organization. How would you encourage someone like that, with a few words?
Just in a few words, I would say it's a good feeling when you're giving back to the community. For me, the best part of it is not just what I'm doing, but when I see the reaction of the individual receiving whatever service, whether it's through our health fair, whether it's just through, just going out, praying and just sharing the word, the way they receive the message and how they accept it, it's just a warm feeling to know that, me as an individual and have that impact. So what I would like to advise individuals who would like to take up this mantle, it's a good thing, and especially if you're doing...
You have your hands full in terms of coordinating today's event, so we're not going to keep you much longer. We just want to, you know, on behalf of the church, we just want to say congratulations to you, your team. I know your wife is an integral part of your team, but she's an overall lead, yes, and he has to run off. We want to thank the AY, as I said. We really want to thank the AY for what they have been doing in our community. They are doing, it's not easy for a group of young people to, you know, be motivated to get involved in activities like this. It's not easy, especially when sometimes the odds are against us. So we just want to say thank you to them. Today, again, if you're joining us, we are here at the Old Road Primary School. Is carrying out their health fair under the theme Communion in Action, and so we're just excited to be here. We have dozens of persons who would have showed up already to receive the services. We have various clinics that we are running. We have prostate clinics run by urologists. We have the public health officials, nurses who are here to administer HPV vaccine and HPV education. We have the general practitioners who will be overlooking all the internal medical parts of it. We have the pediatricians on board. We have optometrists and ophthalmologists. We have the work. So we are asking persons, if you're in the hearing of my voice, if you're anywhere in Antigua and Barbuda, if you are even at this point not feeling your best, we have doctors here. You pay nothing, you show up, and you will be triaged by professionals, and you will see, you'll be referred to the specialist that you need to see. You're not limited to one specialist. You can see all of the specialists. More of a wind issue than a rain issue, actually. Yes, but we are enjoying it. We're enjoying it because for the past few days we've been very warm, extremely warm, and so we are happy that we can at least have the breeze and the little sprinkle to cool us down. So yes, we are here, we are explaining and who we will be speaking to. So we should be having an open forum. We should be having an open forum with nutritionist Charity Dublin, another open forum, Natural Remedies and Healthy Living by Dr. Jerry Simon, and another open forum by Raquel Alfred speaking to mental health and mental health professional. And so we're very excited that these forums will be happening today. Each may run just about half hour, very informative. And so we're asking you not just to listen, but to take notes, okay? After they would have done the open forums, we'll have an opportunity to talk here with them one-on-one. We will actually have access to them. You'll be able to maybe drop a question or two, depending on how well the internet works with us. And so we are just looking forward for great things. As I said, we want to say thank you so much to the Medical Benefit Scheme. Shout out to the Medical Benefit Scheme who really supported us with a few of the material or you know, whatever it is that we needed to function today. We really want to say thank you to MBS. We want to say thank you again, as Dudley said, to all of the doctors who are showing up today. I know for sure we have the GPs, we have Dr. Go, we have Dr. Warner, we have Reno and his team in the Ophthal department. We have a ton of nurses here today. I remember seeing Nurse Jamira Brown. I remember seeing student nurse Alana Hazelwood. I remember seeing Mannix and quite a few of the nurses. I remember seeing Nurse Ephraim. So we have quite a few, even retired nurses who are off of retirement just to make sure that you're going to get the best care possible. So again, we are asking you, please don't stay at home. Please don't stay at home, even if it is drizzling out. As soon as it eases, make sure that you find yourself here. If you're home, you have a sniffle, you have a chest pain, you have some kind of ailment that has been bothering you and you have been tarrying with, please do not tarry any longer. We have the professionals who are here, who are willing to see you free of cost. Do not linger. Please, we're asking you to come out, turn up, and participate fully in what we have here for you. I want to believe that the next voice you're going to hear is that of nutritionist Charity Dublin. She's actually putting herself together, and she will be speaking in an open forum. You may not get an opportunity. Well, you can ask her questions there, and when she comes in to sit with us, we may be able to speak with her in a little more detail. But this would be an open forum, and again, she's a nutritionist, and she will be speaking about everything nutrition. I know sometimes we in the West Indies, you know, we like high carbs and we have plenty meat, you know, but thank God that we have Charity this morning, and Charity will be explaining to us how our plate should look. I know this morning in the lesson, speaking to things that are you know, sometimes, you know, bother you, or things that you know you're tempted to. For example, I remember Georgian saying, you know, if you know you have an ice cream problem, don't buy it. If you know you have high blood sugar, don't buy soda pop and keep in your house, and you know you like soda. And so I think Charity will be talking about a lot of the things that, you know, we should consume, things that we should not consume, and some other healthy habits. And I'm really looking forward to that lecture, because I myself need to be schooled, you know, sometimes on and off in these areas. So again, we want to thank all of the professionals who have showed up today. We want to thank the pastor and the board for granting AY the opportunity to conduct this, the government and the Ministry of Health Education of Antigua and Barbuda for allowing us to use this you know, this school plant to conduct this exercise. As a matter of fact, it's ideal. It's open, it has a lot of rooms, a lot of space, and so we're really happy that the government and the Ministry of Education would have seen it fit to grant us the opportunity to do this morning. And so again, we're asking you, please come in. We have further conversations that we'll be having. We'll be opening a prayer room right here. We will be opening a prayer room right here. We'll have Elder Clive and others who are going to be coming in, and they'll be interceding not just for the persons who are sick, they'll be interceding for persons who are well and for the caretakers themselves. So we're asking you to just pay attention and stay locked. We should be speaking with one of our community coaches and sports enthusiasts and PE educator, Chesley Brown. We should have him on a little later today. We should be speaking to our Health Ministries Director, Cassandra Brown. She is our coordinator, and she will be, you know, speaking to us on the purpose of, you know, the health and the community needs, and even how Health Ministry can push these needs. Okay, we also would have further conversation, as I said, with the three presenters: Charity Dublin, nutritionist; Dr. Jerry Simon, natural medicine; and Rikel Alfred, mental health professional. I'm sure that others will make themselves available. I also asked our student nurse RN in training. We will be having a segment called the Next Generation of Healthcare, and she will be speaking to us also today. Hopefully we'll be able to get our public health nurse on here, and she will be talking to us about screenings, health education, common health concerns, and when to seek professional care. So, you know, we have a lot coming up. I can't exhaust the list. We have a lot of persons who will be coming up shortly, well, one after the other, to speak with you. So we're asking you to stay with us, to stay long. If you have any queries, if you need any, you know, some help to getting here, if you're in neighboring communities to Old Road and you need some help getting here, there are 3 contact numbers that we place in the, I think you may be seeing them going across the screen at this time. 3 contact numbers if you need service to get here. Please contact any of those 3 persons and you will be assisted. So again, we want to thank you for joining us this morning. We needed to stay locked in this morning. Hopefully we trust that as we go through the rest of the day, we'll be able to see, you know, more exciting things happening. I see a lot of vehicles coming in terms of, I'm seeing a lot of patrons, I'm seeing other healthcare professionals coming in. So again, we are having an awesome time here on the playing field at Old Road, an awesome time. And so I'm going to turn you right over to Charity, who is ready for her presentation. I'm looking forward to your questions. Over to Charity. Okay. Hi. Come. You are church?
On this day of Sabbath rest.
Here, our bodies are the only home that we have, and a lot of us spend so much time taking care of everything else to make sure the house is nice and organized. We make sure that our families are doing well, but we tend to neglect ourselves. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that, specifically what we call NCDs, or non-communicable diseases. Have you ever heard about that? What are NCDs? Anybody? And this is going to be a discussion. We're going to talk together. I'm not just going to come and talk at you and present. We're going to have a chat together and learn from each other. Do we know what NCDs are? Any idea? Starts for non-communicable diseases. Very good. And by show of hands, is anyone here living with a non-communicable disease, or does anyone here know anyone living with an NCD? So that might be high blood pressure, diabetes, high cholesterol, cancer, kidney disease, chronic kidney disease. Anybody know anybody living with any of those conditions? A lot of us, right? So these non-communicable diseases, we can't catch them. So they're not like a cold, where if somebody with the disease comes, you'll catch it. It's what we call a chronic disease. In some circles, they refer to it as a lifestyle disease, which means that it is heavily impacted by the choices that we make. Those aren't the only things that influence it, but they are going to be a major influence. And they're a problem because they're the leading cause of death in Barbuda. Does anyone want to take a guess at what percentage of premature death NCDs cause? So when we say premature death, it's people who are dying before their time. So usually people who are dying earlier than, let's say, about 70. And what you find is that these are the persons who are going to be of that productive segment of the population. In a time gone by, these would have been the conditions that older persons would say, oh, you know, that's an old person disease, or when persons get older. But what we're finding now is more and more young people are having these conditions, mainly due to the changes in our lifestyle. So I asked the question, what percentage of premature death do we think these conditions cause? 80%. 80. 80. So 80% of premature death, that's over 50. So I guess you'll be correct in that sense. So what we want to do, there are 4 things that I generally recommend to persons in terms of the changes that we want. And this is because day to day, this is where I'm seeing a lot of our issues. Right? So I have my basket of goodies here, and I'm going to pull out the first thing, and you'll tell me what you think it represents. What is it? It's a skipping rope or a jump rope. And what do we think this represents? But exercise, excellent. How many persons here think they're getting enough exercise? I can't even put up my hand for this one. Anybody here thinks they're getting enough exercise? You think you're getting enough? All right. So by the end of it, we'll see. So what do we mean by enough exercise? And furthermore, what is exercise? Because you may tell me, I work in my garden, or somebody will tell me, I have animals, I have cows that I take care of. So you may be physically active, but what we want is this moderate intensity exercise, and that looks different for each person. This is the type of exercise. So for example, it could be walking, it could be swimming. For some persons, it's running. It's not running for me. For some persons, it's running. And what it does is a sort of exercise that takes up your heart rate a little bit. It should be difficult for you to speak while you're engaging in it, but once you stop, everything should go back to it, right? And how much of that do we need each week? We need 2.5 hours of a moderate intensity exercise each week, right? 2.5 hours, 150 minutes of a moderate intensity activity per week. And what we're going to find is if we break it down, that's 30 minutes, 5 days a week. So you're getting your 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Your 2.5 hours for the week. High five. Nice. So we want to encourage each person. Tomorrow is starting a new week. So what we want to ensure is that for the next week, let's see if we can get that 2.5 hours. If we can't reach the 2.5 hours, let's try for 1 hour, right? And then you go every day. How many minutes do you do each day? How many minutes do you do each day? You don't count the minutes? And we need to start doing that because you might be going each day, but it may not be the 2.5 hours. So we want to work on that. If you've started already, let's just slowly build on it. Okay, I'm going to pull out the next. Do an easy one. Sugar cake? Which one of them look like sugar cake? Let me take them out one at a time, and you'll tell me if you know what they are. Let's start with an easy. Yeah, this is tomato. This is some beet. Very good. Y'all getting the hang of it. What about this one? Spinach. Very good. And this last one. Okra. Yeah, this one is the okra. Very good. And what are these? The vegetables. So what do you think I'm going to say? Because most persons aren't enough. So when it comes to fruit and vegetables, I'm going to put them together now. Then we're going to separate them out in a minute. When it comes to fruit and vegetable, we should be consuming at least 5 servings per day. This is a serving. Okay? If you're doing something like an orange or an apple, it would be a smaller orange or apple. That would be a serving. So we should be having 5 servings per day. How many do I have here? Yeah, I have 5. So this is the amount of fruit and vegetable we should be having per day. Your plate, in your bowl, however you're having. So if we were having, didn't bring any fruit with me, but if we were having fruit, we would want to have 3 servings of vegetables and then 2 servings of fruit. That's a good way to. Most persons tend to have enough fruit, but the vegetables tend to be very lacking. So we want to work on that. So for example, you may want to have a vegetable with your breakfast, one with your lunch. They're all the same. So we want to have variety on our plate. The spice of life. And what's this? Yeah, this one was easy, right? What size do you think this plate is?
2 inches.
This looks like 2 inches. This is a 9-inch plate. This is a 9-inch. Look at the back. So this is a 9-inch plate. When it looks very small, ideally, source of protein like peas, if you're into an animal source of protein like fish or chicken, a protein source, and then the vegetables. So you tell me, we have some veggies here. We have carrots, okra, okay? So we have, I don't think we can fit the tomato on, my darling. And then we have avocado. What do we think avocado is? Fat. It's a healthy fat. So we can have the avocado. So can we tilt our plate a little bit? It's not going to fall off. Just tilt it like that. All right. So we can all see the plate. So we have half of the plate being vegetable, a quarter being our starchy food, a quarter our protein, and a bit of healthy fat. Now, if you were doing something like a salad, you could do like an olive oil and lemon vinaigrette. That could be your fat as well. Thank you very much. And lastly, I'm going to try not to show the brand, but I know we all know what this is, right? So it's a drink. Way too many sugary drinks. So that's a good alternative. So now if you were to look at the back of this can I ask you to look at it? Oh, will you do it? Do you see sugar on it?
Yeah.
You see the sugar?
Yeah.
And how many grams do you see? What's this? 38. So this drink contains 38 grams of added sugar. Now, for the average person, we want no more than 5 to 10% of your daily caloric intake to be coming from added sugars, okay? Okay, let's pause. We want no more than 5 to 10% of your daily caloric intake to be coming from added sugars. When we say that, that's going to be no more than 6 to 12 teaspoons of sugar coming from the added sugars. So this would be like your brown sugar, your white sugar, your honey, molasses, maple syrup. All of these would be your added or free sugar. So it's not just what's in your juice or your tea, it's also what's in your porridge, in the bread, in the crackers, and cakes and pastries, those would count. So this contains 38 grams of added sugar. How do we move from grams to teaspoon? Because most of us know what a teaspoon looks like, right? But we may not necessarily understand what a gram looks like. How do we move from grams to teaspoons? We divide by 4. So this contains 38 grams of added sugar. 38 divided by 4 is... very good. 9.5 teaspoons of sugar. This is 9.5 teaspoons of sugar. So in this can of drink, you're having all of this sugar. And can we remember how much sugar we said on average we should be having per day? What's the range? 6 to 12. And this is 9.5 in the 1 liter drink. And we know there's some people who drink 2 and 3 of these, plus the sugar in their tea and their local juice and their bread and the cakes and the porridge. So we want to be mindful of that. So let's go through. What are the 4 things that we mentioned? What was the first thing that we want to do a little bit better? Exercise. How much exercise? 2.5 what? Hours per week. Very good. And the next one was vegetables and fruit. How many servings of fruits and vegetables per day? Remember? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. And what did we say about the plate? Tell me about the numbers on your plate. We're doing health by numbers. What about the numbers on your plate? What should half of your plate be? Vegetables. A quarter should be your protein. And the other quarter should be your... very good. Excellent. And lastly, we spoke about the sweet drinks. How many teaspoons? No more than? No more than 12? Very good. And how do we move from grams to teaspoons? Divide by 4. Excellent. I want to encourage everyone here to choose one of these things that you want to work on for the upcoming week. We don't have to be perfect, but we have to be consistent and try week after week to make these small changes. I want to hear from you. What change, which of the 4 changes are you thinking of doing this week? More fish? Okay, yeah. So you're going to have your plate. 1/4 of your plate will be the fish, half the vegetable, 1/4 your carbohydrate. Let's follow the good numbers. Okay, anybody else? Exercise? Somebody said exercise. Okay, very good. More exercise. Anybody else? More vegetables. Very good. So thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful for you and that you have a few goals that you want to work on for the next weeks. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening.
In Genesis 1:29 and 3:18, we learn about our 5th way to stand for wellness: nutrition. Which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed, to you it shall be for food, and you shall eat the herb of the field. Here we find that God designed man to eat fruits, nuts, grains, and eventually vegetables. This is the diet that God intended for His children. Research bears witness to this fact. Multiple studies show that those who have heart disease, high cholesterol, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, osteoporosis, cancer, and many other diseases improve maximally under a plant-based diet. In experimental studies, those who avoid all flesh food or animal byproducts have the maximal health benefits compared with those who continue to consume such products. Flesh foods include anything that can run, swim, or fly away from you if you try to kill it and eat it. Animal products include anything that come from an animal, such as milk, eggs, butter, cheese, and so on. The Adventist Health Study showed that Adventists eating a plant-based diet live on average 10 years longer than the general population around them. Research also shows that those who live on a plant-based diet have much lower rates of heart disease, obesity, diabetes, and other popular degenerative diseases that plague our societies. A healthy diet not only involves avoiding animal foods, but also avoiding free sugar and free fats in your diet, avoiding vinegar, fiery spices, highly refined foods, preservatives, foods heated to very high temperatures, and other products that do not lead to optimal health. If you are on a completely plant-based diet, consider taking a vitamin B12 supplement and also vitamin D3 if you live far from the equator. I have some additional advice for you. Before you eat, ask yourself these 3 questions. Is it healthy for me? Is it the right time to eat? Is it the right amount? If you can answer yes to all 3 questions, then go ahead and eat. Meals should be spaced 5 to 6 hours apart with nothing between but water. The closer the food is to how it grows, the healthier it is for you. Choose what you eat for health, not for taste. The most important benefit of a healthy diet is that it leads to spiritual health. A healthy diet leads to a healthy mind, which is better able to communicate with God. A diseased body affects your mind and thus your communion with God. Spiritual health is intimately tied to physical health. You cannot lack the one and have the other. God bless you abundantly as you learn to stand for wellness.
Good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing today? Well, I'm going to spend the next few minutes meaning maybe 20, 25 minutes, half an hour max, to speak about medicinal plants. And I don't even necessarily like the word medicinal plants so much, but it's not even so much medicinal plants, but things you can find in your own backyard that can be helpful and healing to you. In fact, the things I have in this basket, I picked them in my yard this morning. There was a ripe soursop on one of my trees, and I got home late last night, so this morning I knocked it off the tree and had that half of it for breakfast. And I went around the backyard and picked some of the leaves I have in my yard. So the first thing I'm going to encourage everyone to do is to plant trees. It's very important that we plant fruit trees. Fruit trees can be used as ornamentals, and the fruits that they bear can be very helpful for us. In my backyard, I have at least 25 fruit trees, probably a bit more. I don't know whether I've hit a few of them this year, but they're still there, they're still alive, and they're still bearing. So I want us to encourage us to do that. Because a lot of the plants that we have that grow so well in our own environment here in Antigua are very useful to us. What I notice is that we tend to not use those plants. We tend to use the North American, we tend to use the North American plates and stuff. Sorry, the North American fruits, or the European fruits like your apples and grapes and things like that come in from North America that are often picked green, often they use gas to get them ripe and look them red and nice looking. Use a lot of chemicals in terms of getting them, perfect looking. But sometimes they taste like cardboard and look even worse. And are even worse for us. So I would encourage us to use natural plants, fruits, and vegetables that we find here in Antigua. So I'm going to talk briefly about the fruits, and I know Charity would have spoken a little bit about that. But I want to encourage us to eat the fruits that we find around here. Whether it be your pomegranates, your local plums, local oranges, mangoes. Mango is a very good fruit. In fact, I'll give you a secret about mangoes. I'm sure Charity can bail me out in this. If you have, let's say, a liter of orange juice, that Florida Gold or whatever orange juice that you get from North America, it contains about 100 grams of sugar. That's natural sugar, but it's about still 100 grams of sugar. If you eat 5 medium-sized mangoes, and when you say medium-sized mangoes in Antigua, it's really large enough mangoes, you get about 200 grams of sugar. However, the 5 mangoes, although they have 200 grams of sugar, they will spike your blood sugar less than, let's say, the liter of orange juice that has half the amount of sugar. That's because mango has something in it. What do mangoes have that will keep your sugar from spiking so much? Who can tell me? You have enzymes, yes, but what else? Importantly, has fiber. And that's the thing with our natural fruits. Fruits are sweet. They're naturally sweet. They have natural sugars. But the reason why they're still good for us because they come in the wholesomeness with the fiber. If you're going to squeeze the juice out and get the juice and drink it that way, it might not be as healthy. So I said to people, drink water. And if you think you want a fruit juice, go and eat the fruit. You get the juice and the fiber. Now, in terms of the plants that I'm going to talk about today, the first one, the leaves. The first one I'm going to look at, who knows what this is? This is soursop, okay? And I'm sure you're hearing a lot about soursop today because everybody and their grandmother from North America and Europe wants the soursop. So they come down to our countries, extract whatever they extract from it, and then they package it somewhere, and they sell it for a lot of money when you have cancer and things like that. The soursop is a very healthy plant. Not only the fruit, but the leaves are very healthy for us. My father was the person who always used to use the soursop bush. I used to go and pick them for him. And he'd make his tea almost every night of his soursop, and his pressure was very well controlled. Soursop bush is a natural nervous system depressant, which doesn't make you depressed. What it means, it calms you down. So at nighttime when you can't sleep and you're stressed out, the soursop bush is a very good plant to take. Okay, yes. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the soursop bush should make the children sleep, natural sleep. They wake up in the morning with a lot of energy to go, and they're not jogged up, okay? But the soursop, as we know, have a lot of medicinal properties in terms of fighting cancer, colds, flus, infections. You can eat the fruit as well, like I had this morning. Well, I had half a sauce up this morning. I have my tree. Hey, you from Old Road should have no problem going fruit trees, you know. I also associate Old Road with fruit trees. Okay. Now, what is this? This is aloe vera. Okay, some of us call it aloes, same thing. Okay, this is one of the healthiest plants you can have. One of the good things about this plant, if you have it indoors, it helps to purify the air. When you see these green plants indoors, they're very good because green plants tend to carry out what we call photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process by which the green plants use the sunlight to convert that sunlight energy into carbohydrate or into food. Okay, so that's why the aloe vera has a kind of fat leaf. But what they do when they photosynthesize, they also spit out oxygen, especially in the night. So instead of taking your plant outside during the night, you can even take them out during the day and keep them inside in the night, because in the night, they're spitting out oxygen, and as you sleep, that oxygen is very helpful to you in terms of, you know, making your lungs healthy and your body healthy in general. So the aloe vera plant is good. What is good for? For your skin. It's one of the best plants you can use for your skin. It's good for your hair. Provides a natural oil and a natural gel that helps the hair to grow very well, keeps the hair clean for skin conditions, for wound healing. I work up at NSA Medical Center, and when we have patients with wound, when I'm treating diabetic wounds and stuff, sometimes I'll go right out to the garden when the patients come, break the fresh aloe vera, and you put the aloe vera right on the wound. I remember one patient I had, the wound was so big that you could put your fist right into the wound and touch the bone. And that person's wound was healed. Now, the books will tell you aloe vera does not heal deep wounds. The book is right in a sense, but they don't have it right. Aloe vera heals wounds one layer at a time. So it don't matter how deep the wound is, as long as you constantly use it, you're going to heal that wound one layer at a time. So even though if the wound is very deep, eventually it will come to the surface using aloe vera. Of course, it's also useful for people with constipation. Now, you don't want necessarily to use the yellow latex. If you're really, really constipated and can't go off, you're hard bound, as we say in Antigua, you might want to just use the whole plant, including the yellow latex. But if you just want to, you know, keep regular, what you can do, cut the plant down in two, split it in two, use the gel inside, the kind of, you know, crystal colored gel, as opposed to the yellow resin, and that will keep you, you know, free without causing griping and causing a lot of pain that the yellow resin will cause. Pardon? How do you use it? Like I say, you can just cut it. You can use like a piece of this, like maybe this amount. Oh yeah, you drink it. You drink it. Yeah, you drink it. Like I say, you can use it on your skin as well too. You can use it on your skin and hair outside, but you can also use it internally as well. It's not poisonous. It's not dangerous. Just avoid, especially if the person is pregnant. Nobody here looks pregnant to me, so. But if you're pregnant, make sure that you don't use the yellow resin, because the yellow resin is a very powerful or diuretic drug. Not diuretic, sorry, spasmodic, which means it can cause diarrhea, powerful diarrhea, so you have to be very careful when you use the yellow resin. What do I have here? So this is the tamarind, and this came off my tree. I don't think it's good right now, because I think the season is done, so it's not good, but I still brought it to show you that this plant is very useful, again, for people who are constipated. Okay, this is a sweet tamarind grown right here in Antigua. This year it bear a lot this year because I think the drier weather was better for it. Last year, most of them spoiled because of the rain. This year is a bit drier, so the tamarind tree was very full this year. So that's why we have some rotten tamarinds, because we couldn't eat all of them. We try to give away as much as we can. So it's very good, though, to help with constipation. It's also good for worms, okay? Intestinal worms. These are the worms that get into your belly and cause you not to grow healthy. The tamarind is very good for that. You can use the leaves as well, but the fruit itself is good for that as well. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Let's say for someone with trace of acid reflux to be consuming tamarind and salsa.
Yes, you can. It's actually good for acid reflux. Now, people might think because it's sour that it can't be used for acid reflux, but it actually can. It helps to stimulate enzyme production in the gut, in the stomach and intestines, and that's really good for acid reflux. In fact, one of the best ways to treat acid reflux is really not using things to neutralize the acid, because you do need acid. For example, I heard you mention that you love fish. If you eat fish, for example, which is a protein, you need acid to digest that fish, helping the digestion of that fish. So if you use an antacid and kill all the acid or neutralize all the acid in your stomach or prevent acid production, then that can be dangerous for you. It's better now to have something that stimulates the enzymes in the gut. And those enzymes will break down the food faster and prevent the food from staying in your stomach too long. And that will help to prevent acid reflux. Because acid reflux really comes from, acid reflux is a bad name for the disease, really and truly. Because acid reflux really comes from not necessarily acid, okay? A lot of people who have acid reflux don't have a lot of acid, so-called acid reflux, don't have a lot of acid in their stomach. But the problem that they have, especially when they eat late and go to sleep right after eating, the food is not digested properly. Enough enzymes are not circulating in the stomach to really digest the food. And that undigested food is what refluxes up and can cause problems. Okay? Well, speaking of acid reflux, I don't have the leaf, but the papaya leaf, or papaya plant in general, the fruit especially, is very good for acid reflux. If you suffer from acid reflux, before you eat your meal, cut like a piece of papaya, maybe a half cup quantity, quarter cup to half cup quantity. Me, I will eat the whole papaya if I have it. And that helps now to provide the enzymes to digest the food. It provides the enzyme to help digest the food, and the food will digest more efficiently. And that will help to prevent the acid reflux. So acid reflux treatment now is not just about giving you an antacid. Like I said, that can be dangerous to some extent. It's rather giving you something that can help with the digestive process. The papaya leaves is always good for us as well too. Anybody remember chikungunya? I know it causes us pain and backache and foot pain and stuff. The papaya plant is very good for chikungunya. Use it as a tea. You can get a leaf, boil it in some water or steep it in some water. Drink about a cupful or so daily. That helps to, ease the pain of chikungunya, ease the inflammation. For people with dengue, because dengue is a disease that you can't take too many painkillers because some of the painkillers can cause you to bleed. And that's what dengue does. Dengue kills you by causing you to bleed, especially what we call a dengue hemorrhagic disease. So it's important now to use something like, when you have things like dengue and chikungunya, it's important that you use something like the papaya leaves. Those are very good in order to ease the pain, the inflammation, restore you back to health without the dangers of some of the other unnatural plants and stuff. Whichever one you have. You can dry the leaves or you can use the leaves green. I love to use green leaves, funny enough, but when my neem gets dry, I use it just as much as well too. It doesn't matter much. What is this, everyone? Okay, some people call oregano. No, it's French thyme or oregano. It's a form of oregano we call French thyme, okay? Now, if you ever eat my lentils, you'll swear I have the best lentils ever in Antigua, okay? This one is my secret ingredient, but it's not secret anymore. And I'm going to tell you the next one. The next one, I'll really get it really nice. But this is good to season your food, okay? Season your fish, put it in your soup, your lentils, can even put it in rice, cook it in your rice. Is not dangerous. You can use almost any amounts when you're cooking it, okay? I'm getting to that. I was just talking about the flavor part of it now. Apart from the flavor part now, it's a very useful plant for inflammation. So for things like your COVID, we had COVID knocking us up and down a few years ago. So for things like COVID, for colds, for flus, for respiratory illnesses, whether it be upper respiratory, that is your nasal passage, nose, ears, stuff like that, or your lower respiratory, meaning your lungs, this plant is very useful for that. It has some powerful phytochemicals. These are just plant chemicals, another word for phyto. It has some very powerful antioxidants that helps to clear the lungs, clear the nasal passage, clear the mucus, the excess mucus. So you really want to use this plant when you have your colds and flus. And like I said, it makes a very good seasoning. One of the secret ingredients in my lentils. But like I said, I will not tell you the other one right now. I'll tell you a bit later. Okay? Yeah, well, I don't necessarily want to give dosage and stuff, but you enjoy it as a tea. Okay? Because I prefer, if you have issues that you want, consult someone who knows about the plants, myself if you want to. Because what might be enough for you might not be enough for somebody else. But you use the leaves and just enjoy it like a tea. Okay? Don't boil it. This is one of the plants you don't want necessarily to boil. Although if you boil it, it's still okay. But it's preferably to, because these things can be strong, not because they're plants. Okay? So you prefer to just steep it like a tea and you use it in that manner.
Can you smoke it, doctor?
Can you smoke it? I'm sure you can smoke it, but I'm not sure what benefits you get if you smoke it. Okay? But I'm sure you can. What's this?
Give it a try later.
Okay, this is garlic, as we all know. Garlic is one of the most useful foods you can find. It's useful for a lot of things. Useful to prevent infections or to cure infections. Useful for blood pressure control. Useful for headaches, for general inflammation, even on wounds that's outside of your body, on your skin. Garlic can help with those as well as onions. Now, I have an infusion that I use, and not most nights, but generally speaking, I started it during COVID, and I found it worked very well for me. But it also works for a lot of different things. My wife told me when she used it, she found that it caused her belly fat to go. I hope the camera is not going certain places. But what it does, when you use the garlic in combination with turmeric, in combination with ginger and neem leaves, okay, that combination does a lot of things. It helps with acid reflux. It helps with infections, especially respiratory infections. Also helps to decrease your blood pressure. It's a very powerful anti-blood pressure medication. Okay, so if you have high blood pressure, it's something that will be very useful. But however, make sure you consult your physician if you're taking other medication, because you can drop the pressure too low. Now, because it decreases the blood pressure, it also increases blood flow to another part of your body. So if you're a man with erectile dysfunction, the combination of the neem and the garlic and the ginger and the turmeric helps very well with the erectile dysfunction issues. However, I must caution that if you want to have children, neem can actually have the opposite effect, where it'll give you a good erection, but it also kills the sperms as well too. So if you want a natural, what do you call it? A natural condom maybe. but you still want to enjoy sex. The neem plant is very good for that. Okay? I see some hands somewhere. Okay.
I was going to ask how you said garlic is very effective in reducing blood pressure. How much of it do you have to use before you stop?
Well, again, I don't want necessarily to give you dosage, because dosage might be different for everyone.
Okay.
But what I normally do, I don't necessarily have high blood pressure, but I use it nonetheless, and I find it takes my blood pressure down. Maybe because I use it, I don't have high blood pressure. But I generally use like 2 sprigs of garlic, which is what you see here. I use about 5 neem leaves, 4 to 5 neem leaves, and just a little cut of ginger, about the size of your finger joint, okay? And around that, that's what I use.
Because I prefer to trust you that it's just AI. AI is giving you a lot of it.
Careful with the things you see in AI. Some of the information is good. Some of the information is good, but it's still better to kind of verify it with someone who actually knows about these things. Because although most of the information is good, the bad information might be the one that gets you. Okay? I always say that if somebody's going to poison you, they're not going to come here with a bottle of Kool-Aid, okay, and with the 2 drops of arsenic, and that is all will kill you. So just to caution people with AI, I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of the information is good. Most of the information is good and factual, but there's always a little bit of it that can cause problems, okay? What's this one, everyone? This is what they call a paracetamol plant. And the reason why I call it paracetamol plant, because it does a lot of what the paracetamol does. Helps with colds and flus and these kind of things, but it also helps with pain reduction when you use it internally. And again, you use the leaves, you take a few leaves and steep it. Again, I don't want to give the dosage. I prefer one-on-one information with that. But you use the leaves, draw it in hot water to make your tea, and drink it that way, and it's very effective in terms of colds, flus, pain, inflammation. Very important plant for us to use. That depends. And I said that depends because sometimes some people who use plants can get an almost instantaneous effect, okay? You can get an almost instantaneous effect. Sometimes you use it over a period of time. For example, some men will tell me, hey, when they use my infusion of the neem and the garlic and turmeric and ginger and stuff like that, they tell me right away they get an erection, okay? Without even thinking about sex. So plants can work fast, okay? Don't be fooled by the people who tell you, oh, plants work, but they take a long time. That's not necessarily true, okay? It just depends on the dosage, what you're using it for, how your body reacts to it, because we have something what we call pharmacodynamics. Pharmacodynamics is the effect any substance you take into your body have on you. So when, for example, you take an aspirin or something, the pharmacodynamics is the effect that the product has on you. But there's also something called pharmacokinetics. Pharmacokinetics is the effect that you have on the substance that you take. So everybody's pharmacodynamics and pharmacokinetics is different. You might have a different effect on something that I take and vice versa. You can use plants daily, depends on what you're using and the dosage that you're using, okay? Like I said, these are things that you work out with your doctor or your naturalist, because some things you can use them too much. For example, if you have even if you have high blood pressure, but you use neem every day, sometimes neem can take your pressure down so low that it can be dangerously low. So it's always important to kind of work out with your physician or with your naturalist how much I should take for each plant. That's why I love to tell people some of these leaves, they're powerful medicines. So it's best to still sit with somebody who knows about the plants and work out what you need. Because it's not the same, like I said, for example, if I have a patient and I give them 25 milligrams of a medication to lower their blood pressure, I might give another patient 50. Same thing with the plants. I might give you 5 leaves, I might give another person 10 leaves, depending on their particular condition. You can use them according, again, to what the plant you're going to use the plant for. Soursop bush, I love to use it at night because, like I said, it relaxes you, helps you to sleep. Something like ginger, I prefer to use that in the day, although I use it at night as well too, because it tends to be a more spirited plant, so to speak, a little more energetic plant, so to speak. What's this, everyone? This is the avocado seed. The avocado seed, again, has very good properties in terms of fighting bacterial, fungal, parasitic infections. You can cut up the seed, you can boil it or steep it, and it's very good for you. Also, the avocado fruit itself, as Charity was telling you guys, it's a very good fat. It's one of the most, in fact, there's no plant that has more fats than the avocado. Avocado actually has more fats than sugars or carbohydrates. It's probably the only plant, fruit, or only fruit that has more fats than carbohydrates. But it's what we call monounsaturated fats, and these fats are very good in terms of fighting diseases. So the avocado fats are healthy. Fats in general are very healthy, okay, if they come from a good source. And I'm not sure how much Charity would have spoken about that, but try to make sure when you're using fats that you're not using the regular cooking oil. The regular cooking oil, although they come from plant source, the problem with the regular cooking oil is that they are chemically changed so you get the oil form. Now, something like olive oil, that's a natural process they use to press the oil out of the fruit, okay? Some people also use natural pressed, cold pressed coconut oil as well too, and that's good for you if you get it cold pressed. But some of the coconut oil is also chemicalized, as well as olive oil as well too. It's not everybody that has real olive oil. Some brands are dangerous source as well too. So do your research to know which brands are good for you, all right? Yes. You can eat it daily. About, let's say, quarter of avocado daily. That's pretty good for you, okay? It has the good fat, so it prevents the arteries from getting clogged up. Avocado? I eat it raw. I just cut it and eat a piece of it. The avocado itself. In terms of the seed, though, like I said, you can use the seed as a tea. You can grate it and then steep it, okay? Or you can just cut up the seed, put the seed in the boiling water or the hot water and use it that way.
Are we talking about those that are homegrown or those that are bought in the shop?
If you can.
When you buy them from the shop, like you just said, then
it's best if you can get the local avocado. Because the local avocado don't have all the chemicals and the processes like the overseas one. Okay? We're going to wrap up soon. Oh, yes. Here's my cassie. Oh, good. This plant is very useful. This is a powerful anti-inflammatory plant. By anti-inflammatory, it means that it helps against colds, flus, infections of different types, keeps your arteries unclogged, keep your veins unclogged. Very important, okay? You can cook it in your food and eat it naturally in your food, like when you're doing fungi and you do your fungi and cassie, or you're doing your chop, you use this. It's also good in terms of your skin. You can break it, blend it up, use it on your skin. You can use it in your hair. For people who have fungus in their hair and dry scalp, this is a very good plant for that, okay? The Rastaman use it a lot in their hair to give them the thick locks. But it's also good for hair growth. Okay, I'm sure we all know this. I'm not sure this mic is working properly. But yeah. So this is the hibiscus plant. And the hibiscus plant is useful in different ways. The petals of the hibiscus I think we lost power with the mic, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm hearing myself now. So the hibiscus flowers, especially the petals, is very useful in terms of high blood pressure. Okay? For people with high blood pressure, we recommend hibiscus tea, hibiscus infusion. Like I said, one-on-one, I'll give you the dosage that you might need to take compared to some other people. But this is very good for that. It's also good in terms of as an antioxidant, so good for general health, keeping your cells healthy. It's good to fight certain infections. Again, respiratory infections is very useful for that. So this hibiscus that you see here, it makes the place look pretty, but also a very useful plant.
Is the hibiscus and sorrel the same thing?
No, but sorrel also have those properties as well. Sorrel has a lot of those properties that hibiscus has, and you can use the sorrel the same way you use hibiscus. What's this? Mango leaves. Mango leaves are very important to fight high blood sugar, diabetes. Now the mango is sweet, but we know that when God makes something, he also makes the antidote. He says, eat the fruits. The fruits are for your general nutrition, but the leaves of the trees are for the healing of the nation. Mango leaves are very good for diabetes. How you do it? You get maybe 10 to 15 leaves. Again, more or less depending on your particular circumstance. You actually boil the leaves in the water. And after you boil the leaves, you take it off the fire, leave it. You can leave it overnight, or you can leave it for about half an hour or two, and then you drink it just like that. Drink a cup. And you can do this twice a day. Depends on your sugar, the height of your sugar. You can do it twice a day, once a day, daily, every few days, depending on your particular sugar levels. The younger leaves are better. In fact, those leaves that sometimes looks purple, the young leaves that look purple, sometimes those are better than the hard old leaves. The hard old leaves are still good as well, too, just that you have to boil them a bit more to extract, because the mango leaf is a hard leaf. It has a kind of waxy substance in it that prevents it from drying out. So the younger leaves are better. You get the nutrients out the young. In fact, the Cubans have something they call 𝘾𝙤𝙩𝙪, and they use 𝘾𝙤𝙪 in Cuba to treat diabetes, something they extract from the mango leaf. They call 𝘾𝙤𝙪, V-M-A-N-G. That's good too. When you use like a lime or lemon with the hibiscus, it not only adds a little flavor to it, but it also makes it you know, it makes it better. The qualities are better. And that's the reason why I have a lemon here. Because lemon and limes are very useful to a lot of things. When you have infections, colds, flus, a lot of times when you do these plant things, you add some lemon juice to it. The lemon juice helps to make it better, okay? Because of the antioxidant, the phytochemical properties in limes and lemons. The vitamin C content as well is very high. Just like our West Indian cherry, or natural local cherry, has a lot of vitamin C, helps to fight against infections. Okay? So we're winding up, because I think my time is vastly... Now, what is this? Okay. Now, this is good for when you have to boil your dukana and stuff like that. Okay? Use this here. If you don't have banana leaves, this is good. Don't use the foil paper. Foil paper is not good for you. That's heavy metal going in your system. That's metal going in your system. Aluminum. Okay? Just like when you use the aluminum pot. Sometimes when you use the aluminum pot too often, it can actually poison your system. So it's best when you're doing your cooking of your dukana and things like that, or you're on the beach and you need something a plate, a natural plate, use the grape leaf, okay? Very good for you. The seaside grape, that is. You can. I'm not sure what are all the properties it has, but it's not poisonous, okay? What's this one? They're little small. They normally come bigger. Guava leaf. It's guava leaf. I picked this morning off my tree because my tree just started to bear the leaves again. Okay, it was dry during the summer. So it's starting to show blossoms and leaves are coming out as well. The guava is very good in terms of when you have diarrhea. When you have diarrhea, instead of using the Imodium that you have to go to the pharmacy and pay a lot of money for, you get your guava leaves, natural, use about 3 to 6 of the bigger size leaves, and that will give you a good anti-diuretic property. Careful again, as I said, start slow. We always say start low and go slow. Reason why we say that, don't use a higher number, always go low. The other day somebody called me and said, "Doctor, I have diarrhea. What can I do to help with my diarrhea?" I tell them use the guava leaf. They use so much that they got constipated afterwards. Okay? They get heartburn. So remember, the guava leaves can cause you get heartburn. Okay? If there are not any questions, I'm going to wrap up now. Any questions by anyone, quickly? With your medication? Or combine them together? Yes, they can combine together. They don't want to combine everything, but some things you can combine. For example, the neem leaves, you can combine that with your garlic, you can combine with turmeric, you can combine with ginger. And that works very well for your high blood pressure. Okay? The hibiscus? The hibiscus as well can be combined. Again, measure your blood pressure so it doesn't drop too low. If it drops too low, then you could have problems as well too. So yes, they can be combined. Any questions by anyone? If not, thanks very much. I appreciate. Between 25 and 30. Pranganate trees alone have about 5, and about 3 mango trees and avocado and all the other trees. Pardon?
What raking do you do with all them trees?
I hardly rake my yard.
So you just walk
You see, I live in a soil that's very clay. And people tell me when I went there that Doc, I don't grow nothing in his yard, Things are very hard to grow. I said, that's okay. I plant the trees, and when the leaves fall off, they become part of the soil. So I don't necessarily rake the soil. But yeah, when I want the yard to look nice, sometimes I rake it. Thanks very much. Appreciate the time here with you guys. Okay, very good.
Today, we're going to talk about our gut health and how it's related to our immune system. Health is very important, not only because 70% of our immune system is housed in our gut, but also because our gut helps to regulate things like our mood, it helps with our endocrine system, and just any autoimmune diseases and other things that are related to our immune system. Our immune response when a virus attacks or when we get some sort of illness is triggered in the gut and basically goes to battle against whatever invaders are trying to attack our body. So it's really important that our gut is healthy, that it's balanced, and that we have as much good bacteria as possible. What we want to do is optimize the good bacteria and minimize the bad bacteria in our gut. It's believed that there is some 300 to 500 species in total of bacteria in our digestive tract, so that's a lot of different types of bacteria to look out for. There are two ways that we can aid our digestive system and two ways that we can aid our gut in being as healthy as possible. And one of those is by consuming prebiotic foods. Prebiotics are basically what would be food to promote and to help grow the beneficial bacteria in our gut. And these kind of things are found in asparagus, artichokes, apples, almonds, pistachios, dandelion greens, which are really bitter, but they're so good for you if you can add some of them into your salad. Things also like garlic and onion, which are disease fighting and antioxidant. And what all of these do is they have a large amount of fiber that is often insoluble, so it means that it can't be easily digested or broken down. And so that helps to kind of get the gut moving and helps to kind of clean out any bad bacteria that's in there. They also, as I say, feed the good bacteria and start to trigger a healthy response to our immune system. Then we follow that up with probiotics. Now, a lot of people nowadays take probiotic supplements to help their gut because they feel like they may have issues such as leaky gut, or they just have indigestion problems, or something might be wrong with their stool. Whatever it might be, the gut is obviously a large organ and it needs a lot of attention. Something that you can try if you don't want to do additional probiotics is just to try and get as much probiotic in your food. Things like yogurt. Today we have a lot of varieties of yogurt. There's almond, cashew, coconut, you name it. You don't have to necessarily go the dairy route, but you can try any kind of different yogurt that's fermented. And things like sauerkraut, kimchi if you like something a little spicy, tempeh, miso, and kefir. All of these things are good foods to help promote and feed good bacteria in our intestine. It's important to eat diverse foods. The more variety in our diet, the more benefit we gain. If we eat the same kind of foods but packaged in different ways over and over again, we're limiting the benefits that we can get from those foods because we're always eating similar things. The more widely diverse our diet is, the more nutrients, the more variety, the more good bacteria, and the more variety in our gut, which is super important as well. If you do have ailments, if you have issues, you can also try things like introducing more amino acids, trying vegetable broths, eating a little more ginger, which can help alleviate the indigestion and gut problems. And then if you have excess yeast, for example, if your gut is maybe unbalanced and you are overproducing yeast, you can try things like apple cider vinegar, also antiviral and antimicrobial. And remember, stress, lack of sleep, processed or highly sugary foods, and antibiotics all will take a huge hit on your gut and can be really dangerous. So just try and limit those things because we're trying to optimize the good and reduce the bad. Remember also to drink plenty of water because this helps flush out the toxins, flush out the bad bacteria, and just keeps our system moving. And try eating things like a variety of whole grains, barley perhaps, millet, quinoa, buckwheat, amaranth, and maybe brown rice instead of white rice. In 2019, a study showed that eating plant-based was also super beneficial for our gut, and it helps that we eat more fruits and more vegetables because there's more variety and again more fiber and more cleaning out of our gut system and providing good bacteria. When babies are first born and then nursed up until the age of 6 months and beyond, the benefits that they get from a mother's milk is also amazing, and it can help their gut to reduce things like eczema, inflammation, all kind of ailments that can also hit kids. So just remember that as well if you have any friends who are pregnant or nursing, that there are huge benefits to nursing. And obviously God is the master designer of all things, and this week as we look at our gut, we can definitely see that we're fearfully and wonderfully made.
reducing our intake of sugary sweetened beverages. So two practical things that we can incorporate right now. So going forward, one would be to make water our drink of choice. As I mentioned earlier, far too many of us consume too much sugar. The easiest way for us to navigate away from that is to make water our drink of choice. So when we're thirsty, reach for the water. When you want something to drink, reach for the water. When you're out and about, water. When you're at home, water. Oftentimes persons will say healthy eating is expensive, but if we go towards that, that's already coming to us at almost no cost. Making water our drink of choice. The next thing that I would recommend is going to be move more. Most of us do not move enough. So we want to get up, get active. So we spoke about having 2.5 hours per week of that moderate intensity exercise. If we can't get that, what we can do is in our daily lives just trying to implement some physical activity there. So when we go to the supermarket or to the bank in town, instead of driving around and around looking for that parking space, we can park further away and walk. If you're someone who takes the bus, instead of the bus having to stop every few minutes, you can come off a little bit earlier and walk. We can have dance parties, turn on some gospel music when we're cleaning, do that. So we want to incorporate more physical activity in addition to the 2.5 hours per week of exercise. Most of us, we sit too much. We're working, we're sitting, we're at home, sitting watching TV. Our children, they're sitting watching football instead of being outside playing football. So the two things, one, make water your drink of choice, and two, move more.
Yes, thank you so much, Charity, for those nuggets. I am guilty of one in particular where I want to park directly in front of the store and out of the car into the store. But thank you for that. And I will definitely make you proud. I'll put it into practice. Okay, so we just had Charity Dublin, our public health nutritionist, who made it her business to be here with us today. Thank you again, Charity. We're looking forward to seeing you next year.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
And God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." Then the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and keep it. In other words, God gave man his work. Exercise is necessary to the healthy development of the human body. Muscles that are not used shrink. Bones that do not bear weight become weak. Exercise gives strength and vigor, assists in sleep and digestion, helps to eliminate toxins, improves your mood, helps manage weight, decreases heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and osteoporosis, and aids the body in many other ways. How much exercise do you need? Well, current guidelines suggest that adults need at least 2.5 hours of moderate intensity aerobic activity each week, and muscle strengthening activities on 2 or more days of the week that work all major muscle groups. Moderate intensity aerobic activity means that you could talk to someone else while you exercise, but you would be too out of breath to be able to sing. If you could sing or hum a tune while you exercise, that would be low intensity. If you could not even talk while exercising, that would be high intensity. What activities can you do? Well, walking is best, but for those with arthritis or other joint problems, it may be easier to be involved in water aerobics, swimming, or using an elliptical machine. For other moderate intensity activities, you could bicycle, jog, do gardening, rebounding, or go for a hike. It is best to get your exercise outdoors in the fresh air and sunshine. What about muscle strengthening activities? Those are activities that cause your muscles to strain against an opposing force. Examples include push-ups, sit-ups, lifting weights, and using resistance bands. What if you have health problems or are elderly? Well, check with your doctor before you begin. Then start slow and work up to your goal over the next 1 to 3 months. If you can only go to the bathroom and from the bedroom back and forth without getting short of breath, then do that. Then do it again and again and again. Then go from the bedroom to the kitchen, and then to the front of the house, and then to the front of the neighbor's house, and then around the block. Just keep increasing your exercise distance little by little as you can handle it, and you will feel the benefits. Anything you do more than you do now will give you benefits, so start exercising today. God bless you abundantly as you learn to stand for wellness.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, how are we? How are we? Okay, so we're going to start with a question. How many of us checked our blood pressures yet, or we're waiting to check our blood pressure, our sugar? Pardon? We're waiting to do that. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is our mental health. So we check everything. We're going to check our blood sugar, our weight, our cholesterol. We do these checks. Why do we do these checks, do you think? Why do we do these checks? To know our numbers, to see how healthy we are, to see what we need to do better and everything, right? So if we don't check these things, we may not realize that something is wrong. But here's my question. When was the last time we checked on our mental health, on our mind? Pardon? We can't remember when. Okay. So sometimes do we ask the question, am I okay? Am I tired? Am I having a bad day? Am I stressed, as my friend said here? So we are very good at the roof and nobody knows. So we're going to go to that, right? We're going to go to that. So today, while we're waiting for our health checks, I want to give you 3 simple steps as to how we can take care of our mental health. So you can listen, any questions, you can let me know, and we'll interact together, okay? So the first one is check in with yourself. Don't wait until you're falling apart. So the first practical thing we need to learn is how to check in with ourselves. So when we wake up in the morning, most of us, what's the first thing we do? When you wake up in the morning?
Drink water.
That's the first thing you do? You drink your water, okay. Same thing. Okay, so for those online, if they're young persons watching, the first things we do, I know for sure, is to check our phones. No, as I said, a young person. For those online. So sometimes we check our phones, we check to see who messaged us, we check Instagram, we check WhatsApp, we check emails, we check to see what's the latest news, what happened overnight. We check all these things. And then we go throughout the day without checking with ourselves or seeking God. So one thing we can do in the mornings, we can ask, how am I actually doing? So here's something simple I want us to start with. When we wake up in the morning, what am I feeling? Not how should I be feeling, but how am I actually feeling? So are we feeling sad? Are we feeling overwhelmed? Are we feeling excited? And then the next thing we can do is ask, what is causing me to feel this way? So maybe it's work, maybe it's our family, maybe it's our finances, maybe it's a relationship. And then you go to, what do I need right now? So sometimes we may need more rest. Sometimes we may need to say no. Sometimes we may need to talk to someone, and sometimes we may need quiet time. So the Bible in Psalms 42, verse 5 says, why art thou cast down, O my soul, and why art thou disquieted in me? So this basically saying, the psalmist, he's checking on himself. He's asking, what is going on with me? Sometimes we need to sit down before we even get up and do our regular daily activities. We need to check in with ourselves to see how exactly are we feeling. Are we okay to go throughout the day? So I'm going to give a scenario. So okay. So suppose we're at work now. Imagine you've been going to work every day, taking care of your family, answering everyone's calls, handling so many responsibilities, and trying to keep everything together. So sometimes somebody may ask you, how are you? Are you okay? And sometimes you will say, I'm just tired. However, at one point do we keep saying we're just tired instead of just checking in with ourselves. Maybe you're just not tired. Maybe you're actually overwhelmed. Maybe you're actually burnt out, or you may need help. And that's why checking in matters. So the second scenario we can relate to. So this Sunday night, you have work tomorrow, you have work the next day. So you start thinking about everything you have to do during the week. Suddenly, your mind is racing. You're already stressed because tomorrow is Monday. And Monday didn't even happen yet. Sometimes we have to pause. Ask yourself, what exactly am I worried about? What can I control? What can I do right now? So you can't fix everything overnight. But identifying what you're feeling can stop you from carrying an invisible weight without understanding where it came from. So think about this for yourself. If your mind, right now, just think about it. If your mind can tell you, what would it tell you right now? Would it say, I need a break? Would it say, I'm overwhelmed? Would it say, I'm okay? Would it say, I need someone to talk to? Sometimes we really need to be honest with ourselves. So the second thing we can do is to pause. We as Caribbean people, it's a hard thing for us to do, especially when you're going throughout the week. Pause. You don't need to respond to everything immediately. We live in a world where everything feels urgent. Your phone is ringing, everybody's calling you. Someone is texting you, someone needs something. Work needs something, your family needs something. And somebody somewhere is probably asking, why haven't you responded as yet? But here's something we need to understand. Everything that demands your attention does not need your immediate reaction. Let me repeat that. Everything that demands your attention does not deserve an immediate reaction. Sometimes the healthiest thing you need to do is to pause. So we're going to talk about the acronym. It's STOP. The first S, basically, it says stop. Don't react immediately. T is take a breath. What's the first one? Take a breath. What's the first one? Stop. What's the second one? T? Take a breath. What is O? O is observe. Repeat after me, observe. And P is to proceed. So stop means, as I said, don't react immediately. T, give yourself a moment. Observe. What am I actually feeling? What is actually happening? And then P, you can proceed. Decide what you want to do. Okay, so a scenario. Let's say someone messages you or someone calls you. I'm not sure if you all have WhatsApp here. Let's say someone calls or messages you. You see a message that makes you angry. What's the first thing we're going to do? No, humanly, what's the first thing we're going to? What the mind tell you to do? Okay, thank you. Oh, okay. Delete it, okay. Huh? Okay, yes, so you get angry and then you want to, as my friend say, curse. You want to start typing. Tell them everything. I don't know what's the scenario, but telling them everything on your mind. However, sometimes we have to stop. We have to realize, we have to think about what we're going to say first. Is this going to cause more tension in that conversation? What am I going to do next? So you can say, thank you for reaching out. If you're in a message, if you're on a call, you can probably tell them, I'm going to call you right back. Especially if it's sometimes you can't answer them right now, so I'm going to call you right back. If it's a message, you can always reply at a later time. So you can say thanks for reaching out, but before you send that message or before you say something, you pause, you put the phone down, and you take a breath. So you can give yourself, it depends on how long it takes for you, 5 to 10 minutes, because sometimes we don't need to send that angry message and tell you we need to talk. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Okay, yeah. What did I do? Did someone report me? Yes. So sometimes, no, we're actually stressed out over we have to talk. That's all you hear. Sometimes all we have to say is, what do I actually know? All you know, your supervisor wants to talk, and that's it. Everything else is an assumption. Then proceed when you have more information. So we're going to take a quick breathing exercise. I just want everyone to put your feet flat on the ground for me, please. Yes. For those online, you can, what you're going to do, you're going to relax your shoulders. Everyone relax your shoulders. Take a slow breath in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Breathe. Do we feel it, eh? You feel relaxed. Refresh. To reset. If we are angry, if we are stressed or overwhelmed, all you can do, it can take, you don't have to take 5 minutes. It can take 30 seconds. Just sit down. You breathe in and you breathe out. This helps to reset your mind. Okay, so it's just one more thing and then we can go. So the point 3 is don't do life alone. Connection is a part of mental health. So the third point is probably the most important. Don't you agree? Don't you agree that we need each other? Okay. So we were not designed to handle everything by ourselves. Sometimes we say, I don't want to bother anybody. Sometimes we say, I'll figure it out. Sometimes we say, I don't want people in my business. Especially, you know, we as covering people, you think if you tell someone your business, the whole world might hear it. But sometimes we have to... See, pardon? That is true. That is true. That is true. However, I know for sure we can choose one person that we can talk to that they're not going to spread any information. Yes, I will get to that part. But someone earthly. Earthly? A relative, thank you, a pastor, yes. Your friend. Okay, so asking for help doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. So Galatians 6, chapter 6, verse 2 says, bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the laws of Christ. Notice it doesn't say carry every burden by yourself. It doesn't say, it says bear one another's burdens. These are times when we need a friend to listen. So as my friend said, there's a times we can speak to a pastor, a family member, a counselor, or a trusted person.
45.
45.
43.
43.
43, 44, and 45. Let's go.
Okay, so we don't have to carry our burdens alone because, as my friend said, we can give it to God. We know this text, Psalms 55, verse 22 says, cast thy burdens unto the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. So I love that word. It says cast. It doesn't mean to hold on to that burden. What does it mean? It means to throw it. It means to give it to God. Sometimes we spend so much time carrying something God is saying, you don't have to carry that by yourself. Give it to me. And that doesn't mean we don't seek professional help or talk to people we trust. It means we recognize that we have support both spiritually and physically. So when life gets heavy, we can talk to someone. We can seek help when you need it. And also we can take our burdens to God. So that means there are moments when we need somebody else, and there will also be moments when somebody needs us. Okay, so to close now, we have 3 things to remember. What's the first one, if you remembered? Check in. Check in with yourself. So how am I actually doing? So while we're here sitting, we're waiting for our blood pressure, our blood sugar, or whatever health check we have to do. Let's remember these 3 things. Let's just remember to check in. Ask ourselves, how are we really doing? Our second thing was to pause before reacting.
You get poison already, but not bad. And the same birthday they killed my father and my girlfriend. At the time, my girlfriend.
You talk that's your parish.
Just put them there. Anytime.
And then don't talk. Can I put it on the mic? So it's not an interview of that. Don't talk. Just keep silent.
If we need to connect with each other. Actually checking in with yourself, because mental health isn't about being happy all the time. It's about recognizing when something gets into you and you're giving it up. Someone which is a of all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as my soul prospereth. So I love this text because it does not talk about our physical health. It says our health is bigger than just what a machine can measure. We care about our blood pressure, yes. We care about our blood sugar. However, we should also care about our souls, our minds, and our emotional well-being. So before we leave, let's just take care of our body, let's just take care of our mind, and let's just take care of our soul. You don't have to wait until you're falling apart to start taking care of yourselves. So do we remember the stop? Okay, what was S? Thank you. What was T?
Take a movement.
Okay, what was O? Observe. What was P? Proceed. Proceed, yes. So thank you everyone for listening. If you do you have any questions, or we're okay for now? Okay, we're okay for now. So let's just remain as we sit in and wait, and let's just think about what was said earlier. And as you go throughout, it's a little hard, but as you go throughout this week, let's just remember to keep stop in our mind as we proceed everyday life. Okay? Thank you for listening.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yes. So we want to thank Alfred so much for that presentation she just did. It was awesome. We're going to be catching up with her a little later, but for now, we have with us Pastor. Look at me saying Pastor.
Most people used to call me Pastor. You usually call me Pastor. I don't know why.
Dr. Jerry Simon, he's here with us this morning, and welcome. We're so happy to have you. Yes, and so you did an extraordinary presentation earlier. I usually like your presentations because it usually tells me that anything I have around me that God placed around me for me to eat is good for me to eat, and I really like your presentations for that reason, for that reminder. Plant-based, yeah, not the other things, the plant-based things. And so, could you just give us 3 things that you want us to take away from today? Just 3 things that you really want us to have stuck in our minds after your presentation today.
Very good. The first thing I would say is to eat local. And sometimes people don't like the word local, but I love the word local, meaning things that in your locality. Things that you find in your backyard, things that you find over your neighbors' friends, if they're kind neighbors. Those things. the fruits that we grow in our backyard, fruit trees that we have ginnips, what we call kinnip, guavas, mangoes, plums, avocados, things that are naturally grown here.
Yeah.
I think I really want to encourage that because it makes sense on a lot of different levels. Firstly, it makes sense in terms of the natural aspect of it. Okay, we know what we're putting into it, so we know what to expect. Okay, we don't have to wonder what was put into it because we know. Secondly, it makes even economic sense. You know, some of us go to the supermarket and buy the grapes and the plums and the pears from North America.
Hundreds of dollars.
It costs a lot of money, but they're not only the cost, but the fact they're not healthy as well because of the things that are added to them. Okay, the gases that are added to them, the chemicals that are added to them. You know, especially those that are made by the big companies, Monte Cristo and companies like this. They tend to have chemicals added to them, and then we are ingesting that. Not only that, these things are picked green from where they're from, put on a ship, some gas is sprayed on them to keep them green, and then when they get to Antigua, release that gas so they can get ripe. So they look nice and red, but they're never ripe. When you pick a mango, the mango is actually ripe on the tree. So they even drop off the tree, that's okay still. Let's pick it up and wash it. Good for you. So I want to emphasize that first thing is for us to eat local, okay, and ingest things that are local. Even our tea bush and stuff, instead of going by the tea bush at the supermarket or the drugstore,
prepackaged,
prepackaged stuff, you make your own teas using your soursop leaves, your lemongrass, fever grass, all these kind of things. You can use that. Your soursop, you use those things. Like this morning, I had a nice half of a soursop as part of my breakfast that I picked off my tree this morning. So I thank God for that because those are things that I really want to emphasize. The second thing is to use things as natural as possible. One of the problems that we have, we overcook foods. We overcook things, and when you overcook foods, it doesn't give your body the process now to create the natural bacteria that you need to really digest the food properly and to extract the nutrients from that food. So I give you an example. Let's say you have something like celery. Okay, when it's overcooked, you don't chew it as much. It's partially broken down by the time it gets into your stomach, or broken down to a great extent. It means then that your body's not going to produce a natural bacteria to produce like the vitamin K and things like that. So when you eat foods that are raw, like your carrots, your mangoes, your sweet potatoes, it's lightly cooked but not overcooked. When you eat those things now, the body gets the chance to produce the enzymes and the bacteria, natural bacteria, good bacteria that enable us to have optimal health. So let's not over-process our foods. You know, sometimes we add a lot of sugar to the foods. Again, the over-processing of our foods. The flour stuff, the white flour, processed white flour. Try to eat as whole wheat or whole grain as much as possible. But that over-processed food is really dangerous for us. It has no nutrients or very little workable nutrients. It's just a lot of calories, but not a lot of nutrients. It takes all the sugar from, that takes all the blood from our brain. Takes all the blood from our immune system. So it makes us immunely weak, and it makes us, it does, as the Bible tells us, when Daniel and his friends ate of that natural diet. What happened after 10 days? They were fairer and fatter.
And they look better than everybody else.
They look better, their skin look better, but they were also wiser. Okay? Foods have a lot to do with our wisdom, a lot of your brain power. When you eat foods that take blood away from your brain, it dumb you down. Okay? The healthier you eat, the better for you, and better in terms of your mental and physical health. And the third thing I would say is to move. Get up and move. Makes no sense to eat healthy if you're not getting up and burning that energy.
A lot of us are guilty of that.
So it's important to move. Walk, swim, hike. A place like Old Road, you have these mountains and hills and beaches and so. Get up Sunday morning, get up Sabbath morning, go for a walk, go for a little hike. In the week, it might be 10 minutes in the week, 15 minutes. On Sunday and Saturday, have a bit more time. You do your thing, because it's very important for us to keep our bodies healthy, keep our body fit, as well as eating, and it's also good for us mentally as well.
And something stood out to me, after I asked you, what was your specialty, and it said, I'm an addiction specialist, and I'm happy you said that to me, because I know I'm not the only person who struggles with this. I know other persons are listening, and I just wanted to touch on this, pain medication. and becoming addicted or reaching to pain meds as soon as you have a little. How can we guard or caution? Well, how can you caution us against this practice? What can we do to guard ourselves against becoming addicted to especially pain meds?
You see, pain is a mindset. And not to say pain is not real. Pain is real. Pain is real. If somebody comes and stick a knife in your leg right now, you're gonna feel it. However, sometimes we let things that go bad be our master. And that's one of the first problems we have. There's a song that says, "Let not hunger be my master." Okay? And it's something that we should learn, that everything that goes bad is not the end of the world. It's not the sky falling. So we have to give pain different degrees and realize, hey, what do we need to get rid of now? Is this pain to the extent that I need to get rid of it now? Fine. Is this pain something that I can just quell down a little bit as opposed to get rid of it totally? For example, I work with Dr. Matthews, who's a physiotherapist. And he says to me, "Jerry, when a patient comes to me, I can take away all the pain, you know. But if you take away all the pain, they're going to do the same thing that caused them the pain in the first place. They're going to do some foolishness that caused them the pain." Okay? So sometimes we have to learn to live with a little pain. But apart from that, what can we do to ease pain? There are natural things we can use. This morning I spoke about what we call cassie, the cactus cassie, nopalea. They call it nopalea on TV, but the same cactus in our backyard. Okay? That is something that you can add to your food. It has anti-inflammatory properties, and a lot of pain is caused by inflammation in our body. So we can use that to help with pain. Exercise and movement. Exercise in the long run has an anti-inflammatory property. So that is something, when you start exercise first, if you have exercise for a long time, you're going to feel pain. But the more you do it, the more the pain is going to ease. We have the beaches. You can go and swim. I tell my patients, hey, come down and get a nice swim in the ocean. Again, we're in Old Road again with all these beaches, lovely beaches. Get down in the water, soak your body in the water. The salt water is very good to relieve pain. You do your stretching in the water, you do a little bouncing in the water. All that helps to relieve pain. Again, eating the fruits. They have a lot of qualities in them that help to fight pain because they help to fight inflammation. So there are a lot of natural things we can use. Some of the oils, castor oil, your olive oil, your coconut oil, these help with pain. When my hand was broken and my leg was broken, my grandmother and my parents used to anoint my arm and legs with the olive oil and the
castor oil
and the coconut oil.
Coconut oil, okay.
And the coconut oil that they made themselves as well too, using the old coconuts. Okay, so those are things that we can use rather than just divert ourselves to just some kind of medication that we take. And just one little last thing I will tell you when it comes to pain medication, especially the opioid medication, like the things they call Percocet and hydrocodone and things like that. Okay, they relieve the pain, but they also give you rebound pain, so they keep you addicted. So it's very important for us to know that while they relieve the pain, they also bring back the pain. Okay,
and that's very important. I like that. So viewers, please, whatever it is that Dr. is saying to us this morning, whatever it is that Charity just said to us this morning, it's important for us to just take everything in perspective. And I'm sure you would have observed some themes coming up. For example, we need to move. For example, we need to consume more water, make water that drink of choice, reach for the water first. And so, Doctor, I want to thank you for joining us here today. No, we're really happy that you volunteered and you sacrificed your time to be with us. We trust that you continue to have a wonderful Sabbath. And thanks again.
Thanks very much. Today's Sabbath is not my time.
Yes.
God's time.
Right.
Thanks very much.
Okay, so hold on for an infomercial.
Hippocrates once said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." Billions of prescriptions are filled each year as individuals search for healing. It might come as a surprise, but there was a time when people were not so dependent on drug medication. Nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God. These are the true remedies. These 8 laws are summed up by the acronym New Start. Simple as they might appear, these principles contain the most powerful solution to our healthcare crisis. It points people to the great physician, Jesus Christ, as well as teaching prevention rather than cure. After all, it is much easier to preserve our health than to regain it once it has been lost. Long before the first antibiotic was discovered, God created nature. In His infinite wisdom, He designed it with healing properties. This pharmacy, Pharmacy, did not rely on synthetic chemicals for healing, but rather on fruits, vegetables, herbs, which naturally contains the vitamins and minerals our bodies need. Let us treat our bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, and in the event of illness, go to our Creator for our healing.
In Genesis 2:2 and 3, we read about our 11th way to stand for wellness, sufficient rest. We read, "And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he rested from all his work which God had created and made." Sleep is essential to maintain a well-balanced mind and a healthy body. It allows your body to renew itself and aids in healing. Rest strengthens the immune system and can add years to your life. If deprived of adequate sleep, great demands are made on your backup energy resources. If you do this habitually, you can expect to have little resistance to disease and stress later on. Not all sleep, however, is equal. The hours before midnight are better than the hours after. When you get sleep a few hours before midnight, it correlates with the body's natural secretion of melatonin, your circadian rhythm hormone, as well as growth hormone and other regulatory hormones in your body. And the body is more rested. The old saying, early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise, has validity to it. Adults need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, with decreasing amounts as one ages slightly. Children need more. A mistake that many people make is using medications to help them sleep. This actually decreases the beneficial sleep cycles and leaves you less rested, and you become dependent upon them for sleep. Research has also shown that their use increases your risk of death from all causes by 300 to 500%. It is best to avoid them altogether. In order to get a good night's sleep, follow these simple tips. 1. Avoid caffeine, tobacco, or alcohol. 2. Exercise on a regular basis, but not within 2 to 3 hours of bedtime. 3. Don't eat within 3 hours of bedtime. 4. Have a regular, relaxing bedtime routine that you follow each night. 5. Go to bed the same time each night. 6. If you have trouble sleeping at night, avoid taking naps during the day. Number 7. Avoid anything exciting before bedtime, like movies, TV, news, and so on. Number 8. Make a list before bedtime of all that you need to accomplish and plan ahead before bedtime how you will accomplish it. Then refuse to think about them when you lie down. Number 9, pray and give your worries and problems to Jesus and let Him carry them. 10, memorize promises from the Bible that speak about peace and God being in control. And number 11, make bedtime your intercessory prayer time. Pray for others and their needs, not you and yours. When your mind is distracted, bring it back again to the task. Anytime you wake up before it's time to be up, pick up your list in your mind where you left off and continue praying for others. Don't forget that you need a day each week to break from the daily grind of work and stress. A day to be grateful as we reflect on God's goodness over the prior week. That is one reason God gave us the Sabbath at creation. God bless you abundantly as you learn to stand for wellness.
And we are with our mental health expert today. We have with us today Counselor 𝘾𝙤𝙣𝙑. Hi 𝘾𝙤𝙑, how are you doing? Yes, you had an awesome time up there with the presentations. I heard skitters and laughter. So I see as if you are having an awesome time. Thanks again for joining us today. We really trust that whatever it is that you said this morning, that we'll be able to just, internalize it and actually put it into practice. But there is one particular question that burns on my heart. and that is the stigma attached to mental health. Okay, so what are some of the reasons why you think that persons are afraid to seek support?
Okay, so good afternoon. So the first thing I can think of is our culture here in the Caribbean. We think that if we're going to speak to someone, I don't want to use a term, but we say the person is crazy. So back in the day, I'm not sure, we used to keep things as people used to keep things in our minds, keep it settled down in ourselves. However, nowadays, because we want to seek help, people are thinking that because, you know, they're crazy or they need something wrong with their mind. But sometimes it's not always like that. Sometimes we just need to talk to someone. Simple thing as just sitting down, so me and you talking, could be something simple. I think we see it as a rigid thing, that's the next thing. We see it as going to Clearview Hospital, and if you go to the hospital, they might maybe lock us up, or they might give us some medication that would maybe carry us somewhere else. That's our stigma here in the Caribbean. So it's just simple as sitting down, talking to someone I think is a simple way we can help with the mental health part of it.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask this question very carefully, and it's regarding the church and you know, persons seeking support. Okay, so let me narrow in a little bit. For example, you have families, and you may have a battered wife, and who is really suffering. Do you think that sometimes, and I know you're going to answer this question best, so I'm happy you're the one I'm speaking to, how do you think religion or church teachings affect persons seeking support? Okay, so sometimes you can get an impression that it doesn't matter what it is that you're going through in your home, take it to God, bear it, because you made your covenant. How can we reconcile that with the fact that you really and truly need to find somebody to help you?
Okay, so as you said, our first thing we think about, take it to God in prayer. Sometimes I think prayer is a very good thing. Don't love me. Prayer is a very good thing. However, I don't think we should do that by itself. Prayer without works is dead. We should always, as you said, find someone to speak to. As you said, in a family setting, let's say if I go to my parents and say, you know, I'm not feeling good today, I'm feeling depressed. The first thing they might say, especially older parents, first thing they say, okay, let's just pray. Nothing wrong with that. However, what are we going to do next? The prayer can, yes, God works miracles. However, God gave us the tools here on earth. He gave us the mind as well to help alleviate that situation. If you're depressed, especially if you're chronic depression, right? You can always, there are tools that can help with that. God also told us, you know, in His Word that we can also speak to someone. I don't remember the text right now, but He said, so I actually said in my presentation earlier, but He said to speak to persons to help with that, whatever issue that you're having.
Okay. And finally, what are two main things that you want us to take away from everything you said today in the forum, and what are two things you want us to take away?
Yes, well, the two things I spoke about this morning was, the first one was to stop. I'm going to use the acronym STOP. So S means to stop. When you wake up in the morning, after you finish praying everything, sometimes we're so overwhelmed with
see the light of day for a whole month. Imagine how cold the earth would be. Sunshine is vital to human life and well-being. Sunlight striking the skin can convert cholesterol into a vitamin D precursor, which is converted to vitamin D in the kidneys. How much sunlight you need depends upon a number of factors. You need more light if you have darker skin, less skin exposed, are getting your sunlight towards morning or evening or during the winter time. If you live farther from the equator, if you live far enough from the equator, it may be very difficult for you to get a sufficient amount of vitamin D through sunshine exposure alone. And in that case, you would need to take a vitamin D3 supplement. vitamin D is linked to a number of health benefits. It helps to regulate calcium and phosphorus in the body, aiding bone health and helping prevent osteoporosis. It also decreases arthritic problems. Research has shown that vitamin D is an immune system modulator and may be an important way of helping prevent illnesses, even like the common cold. Vitamin D deficiency is implicated in the development of multiple sclerosis, a disorder that causes degeneration of part of the nerve cells in the brain. It also has been associated with improved brain function in the elderly to have sufficient vitamin D. Vitamin D levels correlate with successful weight loss, and it has been shown to decrease asthma symptoms. Vitamin D has also been shown to decrease the risk of developing rheumatoid arthritis. And finally, certain cancers are more common in individuals with low vitamin D levels. And that indicates that vitamin D may protect against cancer development. Vitamin D isn't the only benefit of sunshine. Depression is less common and severe in those with adequate sunlight exposure. And in fact, sunshine or ultraviolet therapy is prescribed for individuals with seasonal affective disorder, a type of depression that is seen in individuals during the winter months when there is less sunshine available. Sunlight kills many types of viruses and bacteria and helps with wound healing. It also helps modulate the sleep-wake cycle to regulate the release of melatonin. So get outside on a regular basis and get your sunshine, but be sure not to burn. While skin cancer is a concern, research shows that if we had adequate vitamin D across the world from sunlight exposure, we would avoid 100 deaths for every 1 death from skin cancer. God bless you abundantly.
Lastly, we can consume bell pepper in its raw form because they
here so far?
6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yes, and we are back. We are back, and this time we are back with a little spunk. With me here this afternoon is Mr. Chesley Brown. He's no stranger in our community. This is one who would have dedicated his time, his efforts, his resources into building young men in our community. And so before we even jump into anything, we just want to say on behalf of the Seventh Adventist Church in Old Road and the youth department, thank you so much for the work, Chesley, that you would have put into our young men in developing them. Some of them would have even gone on to receive scholarships internationally because of the work that you would have started important. So we're really happy that you would have taken your time, your efforts, and your resources and invested it into our young men. So as I said, this is one of our community leaders, one of our youth leaders, particularly in the area of sports and training. He is also a teacher by trade. He is a physical education teacher, and so he is just one of the ideal professional persons that we would want to speak with today. Chesley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Chesley said he's doing okay. Chesley is complaining that he just walked to the gate and we just grabbed him and put the mic on him. He didn't even get a chance to breathe off. So give Chesley a break. This one, okay. So he's good. So Chesley, just for a minute also, could you just tell us why you think, as a sports enthusiast, why do you think it is so important for persons to get involved in sporting activities?
Well,
what are the benefits?
When you look at the word exercise, they say exercise is a form of physical activity. It says done primarily to improve one's health and physical fitness. So when you think of the definition of exercise, it tells you the importance of sport and what sport can do for your health. It's very important that we take sport or exercise seriously with all the different diseases and things that are going on. And I'm talking about from a young age, we think we should get the young kids involved in sporting activities to keep them in shape and to keep them from all these chronic diseases.
Yeah, I know you are a physical education teacher. I know you are very passionate about what you do regarding football and to some extent cricket and so on. How important do you think it is for the school or the curriculum to put more effort and emphasis into physical education as part of the actual curriculum?
Well, I think it's very important. For me, I've always said physical education is the most important subject in school. I know people say maths and English, but physical education details everything. It has all the different subject areas in it. So I think physical education is the most important subject for me. And I think that is something that should be made compulsory from small kindergarten straight up to 5th form in our schools, because there's a lot of benefit that you can get from physical education. You could become a physio, you can become a sports journalist, you can become so many different things being into physical education. So we should take it more seriously. And we need to invest more in physical education, getting the proper tools, the proper equipment, and then move forward from there.
Yeah, do you see, young people in particular, do you see any avenues for us to actually even build out more programs? You talk about movement and exercise. Do you see that there's a need for us as a community to even build out more programs for our young people to get more physically active?
Yeah, we need to have, community group. I wouldn't say community group, but maybe a sports group in charge of that. Yeah. I think we need to have exercise regularly in the community. Maybe we can come together as a body, form a group, and get people involved. It's very important for us to have that type of thing in the community. A healthy community will be a healthy nation. So the more we exercise, it's better for all of us.
Yes. So viewers, there you have it. We're just speaking with Mr. Chesley Brown, who was just sharing his expertise on physical education and actually getting physically fit and how it would benefit not only the community, as he said, but the nation. So stay tuned. We'll have more experts speaking to you. Stay tuned.
In Genesis chapters 1 through 3, we not only read about the creation of our
Thank you so much.
but we also learn how to stand for wellness. Water, exercise, live temperately, love, nutrition, environment, sunshine, thought life, air, nature, dress, sufficient rest, and simple trust in God. In this nugget, we want to focus on the first way to stand for wellness, which is water. In Genesis 1 and verse 2, we read, "The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters." We see that when the world began, it was in essence water. All life on Earth is dependent upon water for its existence. The human body itself is made of approximately 60% of water by weight, and proper health depends upon a steady source of pure water, and without it, a healthy adult would die in a few days. You and I, as adults, need about 1 ounce of water for every 2 pounds that we weigh. But if you are sweating and if you are sick with a fever, vomiting, or diarrhea, you need to drink more. But in general, just remember 1 ounce of water for every 2 pounds that you weigh. The fact is, your body is made up of trillions of cells, and each of these cells require water in order to carry out its functions. Your body is not made of 60% Coca-Cola, milk, or orange juice. When God created Adam and Eve, He placed them in the Garden of Eden. There wasn't a river of milk, a lake of Mountain Dew, or waterfalls of apple juice. God chose the best for us, water. Among other things, water helps to remove waste products, keeps your blood volume expanded, it prevents headaches, helps prevent constipation, lubricates your joints, and helps maintain a youthful look of your skin, and improves cognition or thinking. Water is not only beneficial inside your body, but its external application can be very therapeutic. Bathing daily and keeping clean is important, but applications of hot and cold water on the skin over joints or infected parts of the body can decrease the pain and swelling and can increase immune system function. Taking a 20-minute hot foot bath when you start to feel sick can help ward off the illness. In John 4:13 and 14, we learn about another type of water. It states, "Whoever drinks of this water will thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water, springing up into everlasting life." This water is Christ, living in you, making you like Him. I want that water, don't you? God bless you abundantly as you learn to stand.
Yes, and it's your favorite girl again. And with me is Mr. Reynolds Sharp. He's an optometrist. As a matter of fact, he's one of our optometrists doing our eye screenings today in our eye clinic. Welcome, Reno.
Thank you for having
One
me.
fun fact about Reno, though, he's not just an optometrist. He is a minister of music. He's an awesome vocalist. Yes, he is. So, Reno, we're happy to have you with us here this morning. What are you observing so far in the screenings? What are the abnormalities you're observing so far?
Well, with screenings, you can expect anything to present itself. Majority of what you would find has to do primarily with the age group that you're screening, and certain other demographics like ethnicity comes into play as well. So for today, we've been seeing a mix of persons, some younger and some a little bit older. In the younger population, we're seeing a lot of refractive errors. Refractive errors are just basically those things that cause you to not see well, for which you require glasses to improve the vision. So we see a lot of short-sightedness, far-sightedness, and astigmatism. And when the older population, of course, because of the degenerative nature of some of these eye conditions, you have things like cataracts and glaucoma setting in. One of the good things, though, that we have seen so far today, the patients who are diagnosed with glaucoma, they are on their medication, they're on treatment, they frequently visit their eye doctors, and they're on a regimen, so that's the good news.
Awesome, awesome. And so right now, because I know that your clinic is one of the most popular clinics today, I'm not going to keep you, but what are some tips that you can leave with us in terms of how we can best care for our eyes?
The best care for the eyes is to always see an eye care provider. You should check your eyes at least once every single year. This year might be good. As we get older, things change within our bodies, and then the chemical imbalances can set in, and that can affect your eyes. And so we recommend an eye test at least once a year. So if you can't make it once a year, don't let 2 years pass before you get an eye test. Also, we live in a tropical country. We're always exposed to the sun. We're always exposed to things like dust, people spraying chemicals and smoke and all of that. that. So a lot of these things affect our eyes directly because, of course, the eyes are exposed to the environment that we live in. And so one of the biggest recommendations I have is for persons to wear their eye protective mechanism, be that an umbrella, a hat, with a brim, sunshades, and always lubricate your eyes because the humidity, the dust and all of that tends to dry out our eyes. And if we're not outdoors in the open, we're sometimes indoors where we're confined to screens and AC and stuff like that, and all these things tend to dry out our eyes. Like me, here's mine. I normally keep my lubricating drops on me. So every couple of hours, you know, because I do have dry eyes too as well, so I keep it on me. Every couple of hours, I top up the moisture content of my eyes.
Yes. So see, that's the best practice right there. So there we have it.
You have to lead by example.
Yes.
I can't tell you to take care of your dry eyes if I'm not taking care
of your dry eyes. Correct. Thank you so much, Rena. I know you have a lot of patients waiting on you, so we're not going to keep you back any longer. Thank you so much. We're happy to have you, and we trust that if we do this again, that we will see you again.
Anytime you're ready, I'm your guy. Thanks for having me.
Rena Sharp, stay tuned. We have an infomercial coming up.
Bye, guys.
Before we finish.
In Genesis 1:28 and 2:15, we learn about our second way to stand for wellness, exercise. We read, "Then God blessed them, and God said to them, Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." Then the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and keep it. In other words, God gave man his work. Exercise is necessary to the healthy development of the human body. Muscles that are not used shrink. Bones that do not bear weight become weak. Exercise gives strength and vigor, assists in sleep and digestion, helps to eliminate toxins, improves your mood, helps manage weight, decreases heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and osteoporosis, and aids the body in many other ways. How much exercise do you need? Well, current guidelines suggest that adults need at least 2.5 hours of moderate intensity aerobic activity each week, and muscle strengthening activities on 2 or more days of the week that work all major muscle groups. Moderate intensity aerobic activity means that you could talk to someone else while you exercise, but you would be too out of breath to be able to sing. If you could sing or hum a tune while you exercise, that would be low intensity. If you could not even talk while exercising, that would be high intensity. What activities can you do? Well, walking is best, but for those with arthritis or other joint problems, it may be easier to be involved in water aerobics, swimming, or using an elliptical machine. For other moderate intensity activities, you could bicycle, jog, do gardening, rebounding, or go for a hike. It is best to get your exercise outdoors in the fresh air and sunshine. What about muscle strengthening activities? Those are activities that cause your muscles to strain against an opposing force. Examples include push-ups, sit-ups, lifting weights, and using resistance bands. What if you have health problems or are elderly? Well, check with your doctor before you begin. Then start slow and work up to your goal over the next 1 to 3 months. If you can only go to the bathroom and from the bedroom back and forth without getting short of breath, then do that. Then do it again, and again, and again. Then go from the bedroom to the kitchen, and then to the front of the house, and then to the front of the neighbor's house, and then around the block. Just keep increasing your exercise distance little by little as you can handle it, and you will feel the benefits. Anything you do more than you do now will give you benefits, so start exercising today. God bless you abundantly as you learn to stand for wellness.
It was off, so hold on.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am here as the coordinator for the prayer group of Old Road Seventh-day Adventist Church. And as we are down here with the health program, we'll be here praying for every individual, praying for our community, our church, and even for the nation. So let us find ourselves in a posture of prayer as I lift up to you and unto God this prayer. Let us pray. Dear God, Almighty Father, I come to you, dear Lord, because only you and you alone can bring healing, bring comfort, bring deliverance, and more so bring salvation. We come here even at this day as we present this health fair. We ask, dear God, to be with us as we go through this day. We ask you for your protection and your guidance, dear God, that as we proceed. We're asking you also to be with the doctors and all the others that are here, those that are over the youth department. We are praying, dear God, that you will even enlighten them with your presence and with your power. We ask you to be with the doctors, be with the mind, dear God, that they can understand every situation, every case of those that who have come to them today, that they can give the right result according to your divine favor. We ask you, dear God, to continue to bless them as physician and even help them to look to you as the greater physician so that they can learn and understand the way you deal with people. Lord, we thank you once again for even bringing each and every one here before you. And even as they come, dear Father, we ask you to continue to protect them. We ask you, dear God, to be with every procedure, even those that are going to deal with the eyes, the nose and mouth, those that are dealing with the pressure. Dear Father, I pray, and each and every one that is here. We know, dear God, that the enemy is rampant. And dear Father, we know that many of us have fallen ill. Hypertension, heart disease, dear God, because we know the enemy is trying to break us down, but we are trusting in you who knows all things. And we know in you, dear God, there is healing because you have the power to heal. You have the power to deliver. And dear Father, as we trust you, I ask you, dear God, to continue to pour out your spirit and your power to bring healing upon our life. And dear Father, that each and everyone can find comfort, can find solitude, knowing that you are the great physician. I ask you, dear Heavenly Father, Jesus, to be with this community. I pray, dear Lord, that as we reach out in this community, that the community will be blessed with this effort. I pray, dear God, that you will even that they will recognize, dear Father, that not just this health fair, but we are reaching out for the saving of souls. We ask you, dear God, to let your spirit touch this community. We ask you, dear Father, to bring changes in the life of people. We are asking you, dear Lord, not just even within this community alone, but even in Antigua. We are asking you, dear God, that people will change from their eating habits, that they can eat properly to even maintain a better health. I pray, dear Father, that you will even remove violence from us, because even by the things we eat can even get us so hyper that we can get so wicked in our minds that can cause to commit crimes and everything that is happening. We ask you, dear God, to be with us as leaders. Be with the pastor and all elders and all officers of our church. As we reach out, dear God, we ask you that your spirit will be upon us so that we can guide the church and even the community to a better way of living. Help that our life be filled as an example, and that the spirit that is within us will touch life and change heart. Lord, I pray for the nation. Even at this time, dear Lord, we recognize that the things that are happening, the amount of crimes that take place for the past few weeks, we are asking you, dear God Almighty, to come in the mix of this nation and be with the leaders, that they can put things in place to stop crime, dear Father. I pray for those who are hurting at this time with the things that are happening, the murders and even the missing people that have been missing for the past few weeks. I pray, dear God, that you will comfort the family. I'm asking you, dear Lord, to be with the Jacobs family at this time. We know that they do not really know what is really happening with Shenette, who is missing. But, dear God, we put our trust in you. We are praying that she could be alive, but if not, dear God, we are asking you, dear God, to bring a closure so that the family, dear Heavenly Father, can have this closure, that they can even mourn the way that they need to mourn at this time. Comfort them, dear God, because we know, dear Father, that they are hurting. And just not them alone, Lord, but many of us that who are linked with them are hurting likewise. And all the other persons that have been murdered, the family members, we ask you, dear God, to comfort them, to strengthen them, to keep them. And even those, dear God, in our community who have lost loved ones otherwise, we ask you to embrace them, dear Father, and cause your Holy Spirit to rest upon them, to give them that peace they need. I ask you likewise, dear Father, to take this day as we give it to you. Lord, we ask you to work a miracle, not just within what we are doing here, but we are asking you, not physically, but spiritually, that you will help people to understand that their spiritual life needs checking, and that you is the only one who can bring changes in their life. You are the only one who can transform. You are the only one who can save. You are the only one who can give salvation. Help them to look to you, dear God, because in you there is hope. In you there is salvation. In you there is strength. In you there is victory. So, dear God, we look to you because you have once walked this earth and be victorious. As we as believers, as we walk and as we look to you, living in your victory, that we will end up be victorious like you. This we ask in Jesus' precious name. Amen and amen.
In Genesis 2:16 and 17, we learn about our third way to stand for wellness: live temperately. We read, "And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat, for in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die." Temperance is simply avoiding that which is harmful and using wisely that which is good. It involves making definite decisions about what you will or will not put in your body, at what times, and in what amounts. Temperance includes avoiding those things that are harmful to you. Such things include tobacco, alcoholic beverages, caffeine, marijuana, and other street or narcotic drugs. These things should absolutely be avoided as harmful to the health of your body, mind, and soul. If you find that you have trouble stopping the use of one or more of these substances, ask for help. The simple act of asking for help is powerful in the process of overcoming to freedom from these things. Temperance also involves the wise use of those things that are good. The body needs nutritious food and work or exercise to remain healthy. But if you eat so much at a meal that you are stuffed, if you overwork or overexercise, you actually harm your system. If you snack throughout the day or eat at irregular times, you harm the delicate operation of the digestive organs. That which is healthful and necessary for your body becomes harmful if used in too large or too small quantities or at irregular intervals. Temperance also involves how you spend your money and your time. It involves the influence you exert through your actions and your words. It involves what you allow into your mind through the things that you watch, listen to, or think about. Philippians 4:8 tells us, "Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things." Temperance means that you guard the avenues of your mind and soul from all pollution by avoiding those things that are not true, noble, just, pure, lovely, of good report, virtuous, or praiseworthy. What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you eating? What are you using? Temperance can be yours, but you need to be surrendered and dependent on God in order for it to be possible. Won't you come to Him and trust in His power to transform you? God bless you abundantly as you learn to stand for wellness.
Yes, and so we are back again. We are back again for our final interview for the day. And with me is our public health nurse, Nurse Dupuy. And nurse, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing good.
This afternoon. So me tell us the morning,
yes,
this afternoon.
It's
Yes,
been
yes.
a fruitful day.
Yes, yes. I know you were with us last year, and we had a wonderful time. And we're here again, and our issues continue, our health issues continue, our vaccination programs continue. So I know in particular you are here focusing on the HPV vaccines. Could you just share with us why is it so important for us as parents to get our girls and boys vaccinated?
So today I'll give you 5 reasons why we must vaccinate against the HPV, okay, which is the human papilloma virus. Reason number 1. Every hour in the region of the Americas, that's mean the Caribbean, Brazil, Colombia, we have 4 women dying from cervical cancer disease, which is caused by HPV. What did I say? Every hour.
Wow.
All right? And cervical cancer is real. And we have something that can help us, which is the HPV vaccine. By giving it to our girls and boys, we're helping to minimize the amount of cases that we see. Number 2 reason
the vaccine is safe and effective. One dose. Before it was 3 doses. But after doing the studies, they realized that 1 dose is just as effective as 3 doses. Now, once you're between the ages of 9 years to 20 years, you'll get 1 dose. But 20 to 25 years, you'll get 2 doses. All right? Reason number 3. It is effective, as I said, for girls and boys between the ages of 9 to 14 years of age. And it will protect them from this disease in their older life. So, you know, some persons have the notion that, oh, if we give them the HPV vaccine, they're going to want to have sex. No, that is a total myth. But what we're saying, we want to protect our children now. So when they become adults and they mature and they decide to get a partner, marry, and settle down, they're already protected against the HPV virus. So that was reason number 3. Reason number 4, it helps to protect other types of cancers and sexually transmitted warts. Now, I know it's not a usual practice for persons to tell their partners. You meet somebody and it's not a practice to say, let's go and check our sexually, our status. It's not a common practice. I did it. When I was going to get married, because I'm a nurse and I know certain things, I told my fiance then, we're going to go and do HIV test together. We're going to do our syphilis test together. I wanted to make sure that you're not giving me anything. And you can be rest assured that I wasn't giving you anything. So it's not a common practice, and that is something we need to encourage young dating adults to do. You know their statuses before they get joined, I would say. And then they're in a situation they can't handle or can't cope or deal with. And reason number 5 is that the HPV vaccine, it can be received the same time as any other vaccine. So when they're 15 years old and you say, hey, so, you know, I want to, they can get it with any other vaccine. It's not a problem. We're saying the studies show. I wasn't a part of the study, but we've learned to trust science, and the studies show that it does help persons who would have gotten the vaccine and they've had a strong family history, a strong connection, they did not develop cervical cancer. Okay, and nurse, this is so important, and I like the fact that you took the opportunity to educate us on this. What do you think we can do, even within the schools, because we need this information to be out there? What are some of the things that the Ministry of Health has been doing to get this information out there, especially to parents?
Well, I know the nurses in the various communities has revitalized the school program. I don't know if you're as old as I am. However, when I was going to primary school and secondary school, the nurses from the clinic would come to school and give us vaccines.
Yes, I remember that. Yes.
So that program has been revitalized. And nurses are now going into the schools. So at times you may get a letter of informing you that the nurse is going to be coming to the school, and you're asked to send their health card. And we don't want to force anybody. We still like to give persons the freedom of choice. Because God has given us
freedom of choice.
Freedom of choice. You know, He says, choose ye this day who you will serve. So we're saying our nurses will be in the school administering vaccines, anything that your child may need for their age. You can consent to us giving your child. All right? And that is what we started to do. I'm sure I've been to the Seventh-day Adventist secondary school. We saw the need that some children may do something, and we've been to other schools, you know, so
I know for sure they've been to the grammar school as well.
Last year, again this year. So our nurses are out there. It's a lot of schools, so if they're not at a school that you're familiar with, they'll be there shortly. It just takes time for them to get around. Yes.
So there you have it, viewers, listeners. We are just speaking with our public health nurse, Nurse Dupuy, and she was here educating us on the importance of administering the vaccine to our HPV vaccine to our boys and our girls. So that is something that I really need to sit down and consider as the mom of a 13-year-old boy, because his 14-year mark is coming up. So there you have it, our last interview for the day. Sechul will be back to wrap up.
All right, so I'm finished.
Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food.
Thank you so much.
Billions of prescriptions are filled each year as individuals search for healing. It might come as a surprise, but there was a time when people were not so dependent on drug medication. Nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God. These are the true remedies. These 8 laws are summed up by the acronym New Start. Simple as they might appear, these principles contain the most powerful solution to our healthcare crisis. It points people to the great physician, Jesus Christ, as well as teaching prevention rather than cure. After all, it is much easier to preserve our health than to regain it once it has been lost. Long before the first antibiotic was discovered, God created nature. In His infinite wisdom, He designed it with healing properties. This pharmacy, Pharmacy, did not rely on synthetic chemicals for healing, but rather on fruits, vegetables, herbs, which naturally contains the vitamins and minerals our bodies need. Let us treat our bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God, and in the event of illness, go to our Creator for our healing.
Well, for joining us this morning, I want to thank the sponsors, the medical benefits scheme. Definitely we want to shout out MBS. We want to shout out the Ministry of Health and the support that they would have given to us this morning. The Central Board of Health for the support that we would have received from them. The private clinicians who are here today working. We have clinicians who are working in general medicine. We have the ENTs, the pediatric team, the optometrists, all of the urologists, and all of our nurses and nurses assistants. We want to thank you so much for showing up and showing out today. We want to thank the government and the Ministry of Education for giving us the school plant to use to carry out this exercise this morning. We are truly happy and we trust that the blessings follow you as we continue to work together to develop our communities. As one of our interviewees said, a healthy community will definitely produce a healthy nation. And so we want to say thank you so much to all our partners, our technical staff, and everyone. We just want to say thank you, our community services department, for providing all the eats that we had today, our snacks, and our health department for the support that they've lent this today. So again, thank you so much, viewers and listeners, for joining us here at our Community Health Fair 26 under the theme Community in Action. We will see you again next year, but we will see you next week at our regular location. Enjoy the rest of your Sabbath.